I am Sha'Carri Richardson. I am that woman. And remember when Noah wins the 100-meter at the Olympic trials? He looks dead into the camera and says, "Tell America, I got this." As
Yeah.
far as America feels when we get to LA 2028, without watching any races between now and then, they feel like if she don't got it for us, we don't got this.
Yeah. And the
My
general
argument.
public.
The general public feels like
Yeah.
Sha'Carri finna do it for us, or it's not getting done. Does winning this 200 mean anything other than another 200-meter title at the USA's for Noah?
Oh, for no. Like it's all due respect. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Every single world championships, he's had a wild card, so he hasn't, like, in theory, had even needed to compete at USA's. He didn't have to show up last year when Kenny B was like running very well, but he did, and he beat him. He didn't have to show up in 2022 when Ariane Knighton had just run 19.4 right before then, and the conversation was like, oh, Ariane is gonna beat Noah. Noah shows up just for the sake of it and wins USA's, right? So that's why
championships are actually coming. It's an off year, and we're actually going to New York City, my hometown, so I figured I'm gonna have to in some way make an appearance. But all that notwithstanding, the men's 100-meter dash is still a high-profile event, and as far as I understand it, Noah Lyles and Kenny Bednarek are showing up. Now, we're going to talk about other people, but the conversation definitely has to start there. And the real question is, one, because Noah didn't run all the rounds at USA's last year, is he going to take the crown again because he won the Olympic trials? Kenny won it last year in, a lightning quick, what was it, 9.79? Like,
Yep.
what was it? It was technically legal. Like, it was right on the edge, right?
Yeah, 100% legal. 9.79. Yeah, win legal in Eugene. Yep.
Yeah, so, and everybody ran fast and so on and so forth. You had, a storm of people behind him. Trayvon Bromell's not going to be running USA's. He will be showing up on the circuit after, but, due to some circumstances, he won't be running here. But we are going to get a Christian Coleman sighting. As far as I understand it, Jordan Anthony is coming. And then you've got, I'm going to say it right now, the chase back. So as we go into this men's 100-meter dash, I want to first, start with, if you had to pick right now who's going to take it, for everything that we know about this season, assuming that these people are actually going to run, because things can change between the time that we're saying this on camera and then
very true.
Final declarations and all that comes out. But we going to act like people going to actually run.
Yeah.
So, who you got?
Yeah. I mean, everyone, at least, they're entered. And, like, I mean, it's obviously you're picking Noah Lyles. Right? If we're looking at the 100 meters as it stands, Noah Lyles still stands as the best American sprinter in the 100 meters over the past couple of years. And he showcased it this year as well, taking down, a couple different fields, whether it was out in Tokyo or whether it was the Rome Diamond League, like he's showcasing that he is the guy. And he has, I mean, just on the clock, he has the best American time. He's run 9.88 seconds. That was to win the Rome Diamond League. So he is the guy to actually beat here. Now, what I will find interesting is how do the other people respond to him throughout the races? Because, you mentioned them between Kenny B. We've seen him essentially trying to make sure he can insert himself as a true 100-meter, sprinter. We could talk a little bit more about him, in a second as well. But then you have Jordan Anthony, who also is trying to, insert himself as the new guy on the circuit and, in the United States where, won the world indoors, came outdoors, started well, had some ups and downs, in the middle of June, but he kind of bounced. He's looking much better. He just ran 9.92 in Monaco, finishing second to Oblique. So I think we're looking at a couple different guys that are going to be, and even shout out to Christian Coleman, where he looked pretty good at Prefontaine. So I think a couple different guys who are literally chasing, Noah Lyles of okay, is someone going to be able to take Noah Lyles down? Now, I personally don't think so. It wouldn't be crazy. I don't think anything is impossible. But if I'm picking, I'm picking Noah. You got to pick Noah, right?
If he was going to lose, I mean, he's declared, or not even declared, he's entered for the 100 and the 200.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the 200 at another time.
Yeah.
Just focusing on the 100. When you tell me that he had the fastest American time coming in, and that is, and I had to go back and look, and it said 9.88. And I'm going to read the names.
Yep.
Let's actually look at the names. Because between Noah and Kenny, because Kenny's actually sitting there at 10th if you're just going off of straight clocks, Windley.
Yep. Yep.
So that means nothing. He'll be in
Yeah.
that final. But let's just pretend that these other folk are legit contenders. You got Noah Lyles at the top, and right behind him, in no particular order, it's like about, well, yeah, I'll read it in descending order. Like, because it's essentially 800ths of a second to separate Noah and
Mhm.
Kenny. Again, throwing all the wind out and just say it's all legal. Sam Liskowski, Courtney Lindsay, Max Thomas, Jordan Anthony, Trayvon Bromell, who's not running, Ronnie Baker, Jelani Watkins, who's not running, Christian
Mhm.
Coleman, and then Kenny B.
And Sam Blaskowski is not running either. He's not entering.
There you go. So
Yep.
for whatever reason, and which we would have loved to see him, by the way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I
But
think we would have loved to see, what was there. And he just didn't he just run at the Hungry Continental Tour?
yeah, he just ran it Hungary. I think he's going to be at somewhere else soon. Like he's running. I have no idea why he's skipping USA's, but you
Hey,
know,
it is what it is. So moving forward, be honest. Before we go any further, let's just play this game. Who are the people who have the talent to win this race? Because if and when we say win it, knowing Noah's in it, and that he got
yeah,
multiple rounds. Last time I checked, it's 3 rounds, right?
3 rounds at 100. He's
100, yeah. So
semi-finals. Yep.
he
Yep.
got 300-meter rounds. Because that's another thing. It's not just beating Noah one off. You got to do it in 3 rounds. 'Cause remember, he didn't win his preliminary or semifinal at the games,
Oh yeah. Yeah. No.
and he
No.
still won the thing. So if you give him 3 rounds, now you got to be honest. Like of any of the names I just said, or I mean, I don't even think there's any point to go further down. No shade, but just being honest. Um, is there any reason to believe that, like, who are the names? Yeah, like who stood out?
I mean, so realistically, and I'll always say anything can happen. Like someone could really pop off and have like an amazing performance, and it's like whoa, like they took down Noah. But I think realistically, I'm probably looking at Jordan Anthony and Kenny B as like the two guys. I want to say Christian Coleman as well, but he hasn't shown enough this year to give me that indication that like okay, taking down Noah. So I think Jordan Anthony, Kenny B have the best shots, are in the closest conversation to say, oh no, like took down Noah, like that's not too much of a surprise. And so specifically, like you mentioned, Kenny B, he's 10th, in the USA right now with his 996, which I think he ran at Prefontaine. That race wasn't great for him, but before then, he did run a few races on the Diamond League circuit at the Chinese Diamond Leagues. Finished, decently there, top 3-ish or so with some of the international guys. And then he also did run that windy 973 down at the LA Grand Prix. So I think with that context, and on top of like his history in the sense that he won USA's last year, and the year before he finished second to Noah, like, at USA's at least. So with all that context, I think it's hard to say that Kenny is not like ahead of everyone. Well, I don't ahead of everyone else for sure, right? But I
And three
do look
rounds
at
as well. I would add that part.
oh yeah, exactly. That's a good point, right? With 3 rounds, because Kenny actually, arguably more than anyone else here, maybe except for Christian Coleman and Trayvon, who's obviously not running, he probably is the best equipped for 3 rounds, right? Christian,
Yeah.
Kenny, Trayvon, Noah, right? In terms of like the top Americans this year. But so yeah, that's why I look at
I
Kenny,
mean,
but then also Jordan as well. But yeah, Kenny at least at first.
well, we'll get to Christian Coleman in a moment because I think there's some unique conversations there. Um, I agree. It's Noah and Kenny at the top, but again, with Noah, it's because we've seen it this year, and we
Yeah,
also haven't seen it from many other Americans. That's step one.
yeah.
So,
Well, this year and like historically, right? Like essentially
oh
every
yeah,
year
but I mean, like riding into the championship
into USS.
as
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
fastest man on the clock. We have actual victories I can point to, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm looking at the rest of y'all, and y'all ain't show me that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I mean, it's kind of because it's different when he's coming in not quote unquote like himself. I've always described Noah as like the most dangerous 100-meter runner, although he's not necessarily like hands down the best. But when you go to
Yeah,
the
exactly.
sport, he just be sneaking up on people and snatching the races before it's over. So
Mhm.
I went back and looked at the report though, and I was like, okay, well, Kenny B this year in the 100 has not been lights out. He did win, what was it, the LA Grand Prix?
LA Grant, that's where he won the windy
Yeah.
973.
All right. And then did he run any 100 after that?
Well, he ran the Prefontaine. That's where he finished 4th place.
Yeah. So there you go. So that,
Mhm.
so that's the freshest memory we have because the LA Grand Prix. I mean, Christian Coleman, came up behind him, right?
Yeah, it was Christian Coleman. So they essentially flipped between Kenny B beat him at LA, and then Christian was ahead of him at Prefontaine. Um,
That was
I-
huge.
so,
Coleman for the record.
yeah, for Coleman. I was just gonna say the only other he ran the 200 races in the Chinese Diamond Leagues, and there he was, at least for what we're looking at, he was the top American because he lost to Trayvon once, but Trayvon isn't running. And he beat Christian twice. But I think to your point, that Prefontaine was big for Christian Coleman.
Yeah. Well, that's why for me it feels like Christian Coleman is the person who needs this the most.
Mm,
Like of the people on the line, he's the one who like Jordan Anthony. You got time. Noah's won a whole bunch of stuff. Like, yeah, he wants to keep winning, but he's won a whole bunch of stuff. It's more like he's just defending the throne, but he's still gonna be the guy whether he win or he lose.
of
And
course,
that's
of
the best way to
course.
put it. Kenny is still got something to prove, but Christian Coleman, like, I mean, I know I've been harsh on the camera because I keep calling it Westbrook syndrome, and I'm going to continue to say it. Like, I went back. I had to remind myself. The Diamond League
Mm,
in 2023, I forgot that race happened for a moment.
yeah, Prefontaine,
Like that was
Diamond League
because that's the
final.
last time he beat Noah. I looked it up. That's the last time.
Yeah, that
Right.
makes sense. That
So
makes sense.
I mean, 2024, 2025. So 2 years have passed, and as long as that man was on the line, you was behind. And then last year, USA's he ran better than a lot of because he. Now I'm at this different point where when we're looking at these races, and I'm gonna say all the offensive parts out loud. We might as well. We came this far. We might as well do it. Where some people just can't go with the pace, bro. They just can't.
I mean,
I mean, it's not my words. I think it was might have been. I think it was talking to one of the athletes on the circuit, and they talked about like, hey, the pace is going to be the pace. Can you go with it or not? And
mhm.
when I look at like Christian Coleman can go with it because he can
Yeah,
set the
yeah.
pace. Now the question is, can they snatch him up before it's over? Kenny not getting him, that's important to me because it shows me like, all right, you're starting to get closer to what it is. It's like, hey, you're Christian Coleman, just embrace it.
Mhm,
End the
mhm.
race before it begins, dare him to come get you, and they might not be able to. All this
Yeah.
trying to run cute, like I'm sure you're working on things and you and your training, and you've been doing this for a long time before you got with this training group. Whatever they're doing down there, I just don't see how they're going to change you from the guy who lights out, takes over the race in the beginning, and dares people to come get him.
Mm.
And so again, he didn't win it. He didn't win that race at Prefontaine, but Ajayi ain't gonna be here.
I was gonna say he beat the Americans. That like he beat who he needed to beat in the context of going to USA's right now. I mean I think for Christian, because in the context of okay, he beat out Kenny B specifically, right? Kenny B beat him in LA, then Christian beat him in Prefontaine, and Prefontaine was a bigger race in the sense that you had, Ajay, you had Oblique, right? It was just a bigger race. And obviously Prefontaine is just a bigger race than the LA Grand Prix. So that maybe for Christian was actually a motivation of like, okay, nah, like I'm still there. Like I still truly have it. Cause all the previous races could give the indication of like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Like, can I still do it? But like, okay, you get back in a race like this. And the last race before USA's, I think that's a motivational booster. Then on the flip side for Kenny, it's like, what does that mean? Okay, you just lost to Christian Coleman. And to your point, you weren't able to run him down. And again, for both of them, last race before USA's. So how does that kind of play into your motivation going into here, where now not only are you racing each other, but now you're racing Noah. And we haven't even spoken about Jordan, who we'll talk about in a second, but it's like this is like how are you going to actually perform here? So that's a dynamic that we'll see. But I still think for me personally, Kenny is like I can't say that I can't pick Christian Coleman ahead of Kenny B only because of the track record, right? Holistically over the past, couple years. It's like Kenny B knows how to show up for whether it's USA's or obviously Worlds or Olympics. Like he knows what to do in recent years. So I don't know, but I'm not dismissing. I think Christian. I'll say this: Christian actually, I feel like he might do some damage here at USA's in terms of like put together a good performance. That's like, oh wow, Christian is like, he's back, he's there,
I mean,
But
he looked better this year than he did last year going into USA's, and he got what?
yep,
Yeah.
he was fifth, yeah, 986 last year.
So I'm saying he's gonna move up from fifth.
Yeah, yeah, most
That's the best way to
most
put it.
likely
Like,
you
it,
should, yeah.
because when we can move off of like these three, right? Because Coleman is the one who can slide up and down. That's how it feels. Noah ain't leaving the top.
Yeah,
Three
yeah, yeah.
people
We're
ain't
not
beating
picking.
him. Not happening.
Well, exactly. Yeah, definitely not three
Like,
people.
because he just doesn't let us down. So I just don't even worry about picking against him anymore. And Kenny B, sometimes he quote unquote gets left in the blocks, but he still finishes more or less in the top half.
Yeah,
Like more again, you have
yeah,
to be that Olympic final or whatever with those guys in order for him to not be in the top half. So not with Team USA guys. And again, some of
exactly.
these people are running their season in reverse. They're trying to earn a contract, prove they're worth something or whatever. So some of them, like for lack of a better term, their bullets got shot too early.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, again,
yeah,
everybody can't go with the pace.
yeah,
A lot of names further down on this list who
yeah.
can't go with the pace. So now let's become technical. Jordan Anthony. I'm gonna give my thoughts. You're gonna give yours. Where I see
Hmm.
him, because we talked about before the season started, coming off a world indoor. Obviously, those races are in his legs. All the travel, and he's having fun out here. His first year on the circuit, he's like, "Hey, I haven't even been traveling overseas until now." Like he's just enjoying the ride. But we know he's competitive, and his Tom Jones race is still his fastest 100 that he has registered. Even though he's now started to get closer and closer back to it after kind of like going the wrong
Yeah,
direction, working through some injuries. Like still running, but clearly wasn't himself, and now starting to look more like himself. Every time I watch a Jordan Anthony race, it looks like the ones that are like decent, they all look about the same. Everything going great till about 60, 70. And the thing is, he comes through 60 clean. It's not like he's straining to get there. And then somewhere around 70 to 100, it's like things start to just it's like the screws get
yeah.
loose, and and the car starts to rattle. But the way it's rattling, like visually speaking, like, he's still trying to run smooth,
Mm,
but he's just not fast anymore. That's what it
yeah,
looks like. It looks like, the momentum. I mean, it's essentially the acceleration. It was just that it doesn't look like he's straining as much as it is that for whatever the reason, it's just like he's just not able to lock it down. Now, the thing is,
yeah,
it's been getting better. So I'm
yeah. It
like,
turned around.
okay, is he gonna be able to push that to 90? Because it's almost like, because really, this is how I see it. He runs the race. The first 60 is that he's actually generally like powering through and getting himself in gear if the race is quote unquote going well till that moment. And then around 70, 75, it starts to get rickety. And then he'd be dependent on that lean at the back to try to get him somewhere. No, I mean, this is just me talking. I'm just a random
Yeah,
guy. I'm not that important. I don't know if that lean is going to save him anywhere near as much as he thinks it will, because sometimes
man.
he'd be leaning and he'd be in fourth. But he made but what I'm saying is, for him to win, what's gonna have to happen is he's gonna have to leave Noah, show enough with
Yeah.
Kenny, go with Christian,
Mhm.
and hold the rest of them off and hold on better than Christian. The truth is, in the 200-meter dash, I don't know who I trust more, Jordan Anthony or Christian Coleman. I don't know. So as a result,
Yeah,
I feel like it could be a dead heat between both of them, and you're still looking at Noah and Kenny. So what y'all got? Like I don't
yeah.
know if Jordan Anthony is better than Christian Coleman coming into this USA's.
I mean,
Does that make sense?
it makes sense. I mean, personally, I think based on what I've seen, Jordan is better than Christian entering USA's. Like in theory, if I was to game this out, I would say I would lean towards Noah. I would lean towards yeah, Noah, Jordan, Kenny in like 2, 3, either or, and then Christian in fourth. The thing that about Jordan is at Tom Jones in Florida, he ran that 991 where he was looking over to like Courtney Lindsay or whatever, right? Looking side to side. So a race like that, that shows me that he is capable of like not having, whatever's been going on in like the last 30 meters of his race. Like he's capable of running a fully complete 100. Now, after that, we started to see exactly as you broke down. It was like almost, I mean, almost like a whole different athlete in that second half, right? Like I don't know what happened to that Tom Jones athlete. But then his most recent race in Monaco, where he finished second to Oblique, that started to get back in the realm of like, okay, he started very well, and then his second half, that last 30, 40, it looked a little bit better. It wasn't fully there, but it looked a little bit better. So that gave me more hope of like, okay, he actually is capable of running a full 100-meter race. And if he actually does that, I don't see why he's not running, I mean, he should be running a personal best, right? He should be at 9.8s in theory by the time we get to USA's here. And obviously, I mean, he trains with Noah. So his coach with Coach Lance Brahman, like they know the schedule of like, okay, USA's is here. We're targeting that. We had ups and downs, but like now we're trending towards, a good race there. Also, look at what happened indoors, where the start of Jordan's indoor season actually wasn't that great. I mean, it was kind of mixed, to be honest. Like he
Yeah.
was finishing like third. He was running like 6.5, like I don't know, 6.6. Like he wasn't doing that great. But then all of a sudden, as we got closer to USA's, that's when he drops 6.4. He's beating out, I think he beat Trayvon and Ronnie down in Arkansas. Then obviously he goes to USA's, and it's like, and then obviously we see what happens at Worlds. It's like, so I don't know if that's going to happen here. If it's like, okay, USA's perfect peak, but his last race did give me some indication. And for context too, he is running again on at the London Diamond League. So we're recording this before he runs in London. Who knows what might happen there, at least based on what we're recording, just for context, because people might, come at us and like,
Yeah.
oh, you did this, that, whatever. But so I don't know. I think essentially Jordan to me is actually trending in an upward direction towards USA's, but it's a question on like how good is he actually going to do? I don't know.
I agree. And yeah, that's a good way to kind of like bring it back because I remember the back half of the indoor where you just give them a pass on the first half. Because
Yeah.
once the Tyson Invitational hit, new narrative.
Yeah.
Then USA's happens. Then World happens. Remember, it was 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Then Tom Jones after that. So there's 4 meets in a row where we
Mm.
saw that guy. Then that guy disappeared and became a lesser version. Now, I get it. Training cycles and people go into the vault, maybe that's where some of these little nicks and injuries and things come up where you're trying to run through it because, money exchanges hands. You're supposed to go over to this meet. You know what I mean? Like, remember, I keep saying it, coming from the football community where they play every week and like they're playing the snow or the rain or whatever. And you come to track where you really spend all week preparing for one race, sometimes multiple weeks. People be like, "Oh, I'm taking time off the train." We don't see you for a month. What
Literally.
do? You just run for 200 meters and then we don't see you again for
Literally.
like they're like that's kind of what it feels like. That's why people kind of like we have this issue of feeling like we're not watching the athletes go out there and do what they do. But I'm gonna ask this then, Jordan Anthony, you're saying, would you put him on the same rung as Noah, Kenny? Okay, let's actually. Is it Noah and Kenny, then Christian Coleman and Jordan Anthony, and then the chase pack? Like, is that the levels, like A, B, and C?
No, I see it as, well, yeah, well, okay, I see Noah as A. I think
Mhm.
Noah is, I mean, we just have to be honest, right? Like Noah is, it's until he's actually taken down, like it's Noah at the top, right? And then because again, it's like, all due respect, but last year, right, he didn't go through the rounds. Kenny won it in 9.79, but like then we saw at World Champs when they did, well, we saw actually before then at the Silesia Diamond League, I think, like, Noah finished ahead of him, and then we got to Worlds and he finished ahead of him. So, and then again, you go back years, 2024 at the Olympic trials. It's like, so I think Noah is still the top. And then I think Kenny, Jordan, Christian for me. Though I will say, even though I'm giving Christian a lot of props, just based on what we've seen this year, and based on like, eh, am taking previous years, like recent previous years, 24 and 25 into consideration. I do think I still rank Kenny slightly above because like of that experience and like being ready for USA's no matter what. But I do think Kenny, Jordan, and Christian are like my B, and then everyone else is C behind there.
Okay, because
Yeah.
now I'm thinking, well, I can get behind that even though I guess because Kenny's the last champion,
Yeah.
and whether Noah ran the round or not, I'm like just going off of that. And we'll throw the wind out and not to get too concerned. I'll just say they're two champions. So that's why I kind of because remember Noah didn't win USA's in the 100 in 2023. That was Cravon Charleston and Christian Coleman was ahead of him.
I
Again,
mean,
the Noah narrative in the 100 transitions from after that meet, right?
yeah.
Like
It's really
there's the story
world
before
champs.
that meet, and then
Yeah.
there's the story from that point down. If he had won 2023 USA's, it would be easier for me to be like, Kenny's totally not on that level. Because we're talking about the USA 100. That's what we're talking about. He's only won it once. It's not counting 2018. Am I right?
But I mean,
So
but
twice.
yeah, okay, yeah, twice
But,
in his
but the
career.
difference is
But
he wasn't always. Well, he ran it at the Olympic trials in 2021. He just didn't make the team.
yeah, he actually finished, I think, almost last. He finished like 7th or something like
Yeah,
that.
and then 2022,
He didn't run
did
it.
he even run it? No.
Nope, he only
So
did the 200. I
yeah,
mean, but I can't. I think I'm looking at it more holistically outside of just USA's. Like, sure, Kenny won USA's last year, but like realistically, I'm not looking at. And again, as I said at the top, anything can happen. But like, I'm not looking at Noah and Kenny in the same conversation. Like, even like it, just because someone is a US champ doesn't mean that they're now in the same conversation as someone else. You know, like, so I can't look at Kenny and Noah on the
that's fair
same
because we don't
level.
put Cravon Charleston in this discussion.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
and
that's how
he
it's
was
like,
the biggest like out of nowhere situation, and then after that, unfortunately, I think with injuries, really, like shortly
yeah, injuries,
thereafter,
exactly.
and then like it's like he was here today, and we didn't get a chance to really appreciate anything beyond that because he had a great tear
Yeah.
on the way into UFAs that year.
Yeah,
Like
he
it
was
wasn't like he
doing,
just popped up. He was doing stuff.
yeah,
Nobody was paying attention, but he was doing it. I mean,
yeah.
but I was gonna add then. So before we leave this, then the chase pack, which I mean, who are the leaders of the chase pack? That's the question. Because we gave 4 names who are these guys really think they're gonna be winning, right? All of
Yeah.
them would say this is a failed weekend if we don't win. Everybody else who hates them, gotta be honest, winning is probably not what you're doing. So
Yeah,
you're the
it's
chase
tough.
pack, the people who are trying to bust up and get into the top 4. Because last time I checked, I don't see T-Mars.
Nah, T Mars is not here, and
Yeah, so
well, yeah,
that Courtney Lindsay is here though,
that's the thing.
but
Courtney Lindsey's here.
he hasn't been looking
Yeah,
special this season. But he did run
exactly.
989 at that sprint series meet.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one in Florida, the Star
Yeah,
Athletic
like
Sprint
they run it at
Series.
like a high school or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but I mean, I think Courtney Lindsey, like Brandon Hicklin, Ronnie Baker, even like Max Thomas, like I think those guys. Because, like, I'm thinking of, okay, Courtney Lindsey at that sprint series meet. Brandon Hicklin, he ran the 200 there, and he ran like 19.92 or something like that. But, like, and even though, and granted, Courtney Lindsey has a better case because he made the team last year in the 100. He ran 9.8. So, like, he actually does have he's probably like the top of that chase pack, right? If I was to say, okay, who's going to break up that top, top 4 in some capacity, I'd probably lean towards Courtney Lindsey. But like you said, this year, I'm not super convinced. I mean, Ronnie Baker just ran at the meet in Tennessee. He ran like
Yeah.
992 or 993, something like that.
993, yeah, plus 19.
Yeah. So like, am I saying that Courtney Lindsey is like way better than Ronnie Baker's form right now? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. Yeah. So that's why I put all those guys in the same mix. Really. I mean, you have your college guys like Johnny Dwyer. Like it's Mason
I
Lawler.
man,
I
I'm
don't know.
not checking for the college kids, man. Y'all gonna have to show me something because I mean, remember what the NCAA narrative was Ajayi and y'all were behind. Everybody else was the chase pack, and I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that's like he so emphatically won in
Yeah.
terms of like what you remember. So I don't have a reason, leaderboard or otherwise. Like again, let's go back. Ain't no college kid in the top 10. Y'all had a whole
Yeah,
NCAA season, a whole bunch of meets to
yeah,
catch
that's true.
something with a wind tunnel to help you out that was technically coming through as legal. and could nobody figure out how to get up in there. And so as a result, like again, could then one of them snatch a spot in the final? Perhaps, but
Yeah, I'm
just not.
probably, but
I'm
we're
just
not
I'm
saying
not
that.
because we're not seeing because the thing is this year, which is worth noting, Taylor with the World U20s and stuff. Like we're not getting those kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They were there last year, multiple of them, like high school kids.
Yep.
This year, they're not here. Christian Miller already scratched, so this is
Yeah.
another year where he's been struggling to put it all together. Really, we really haven't had the opportunity to watch him run since the Olympic trials. If we're being
Yeah, he's
honest,
run a
like
f he ran a
barely here
f
and there.
yeah, he's run a few races here and there, but nothing that's like, "Okay, now Christian Miller of 2024." So, yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
did run a race in Ireland. Apparently, that was his fastest race this year.
Yeah, yeah.
A 10:06 in Ireland, and it looks like he won it from what I can tell. But I guess if he scratched, then he must have his reasons. I don't know if it's just straight injury or something else.
I it's a question. Who know honestly, who knows? But, I mean, it's to the point of, yeah, like, the field behind Noah, Kenny, Jordan, Christian Coleman, it then gets to get it gets very, okay, who can kind of break it up, right? Again, you look at your Courtney Lindsay's, your Ronnie Bakers, right? Like, all of them are gonna be in the mix. Max Thomas, but I'm not confident that, like, someone I can definitely say right now, "Oh, like, someone is going to break up, get into that top 4." It very likely can happen. I mean, honestly, that's the reason. That's the reason we were just talking about, Cravon Charleston. Like, there's a reason that, you have certain athletes come out and perform well, but, it's not
I
something we
don't.
could predict.
What Matt? Well, you see what you said. It is something we can predict. Who's given us a reason? Because Cravon gave you a reason. Remember, he was at the LA Grand Prix that year, 2023, and beat
Yeah,
Christian.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
there. So the question is there anybody who's done anything against those guys in the four? Because Christian Coleman made that USA team. You follow? Like it's not like he was a random. He was Christian Coleman, who just came out of 2022 in the World Final, 2023.
Mhm.
Still Christian Coleman, but he lost. So I think that's where I'm questioning. Have I seen anybody do something? Maybe Max Thomas.
The problem with Max is he got injured in the middle of the year, and he just came back. I think he ran at Ed Murphy. Well, yeah, he ran a windy. It was like very windy. It was like 3 point something wind. Like in the 200, he ran like 20
I
something.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not sure because he ran fast early on. He ran very well actually in the 100 and the 200, but I don't know how I can't factor in that windy 200 race to tell me like, okay, he's back to that 990 in 100. But if if he didn't get injured, I actually would have leaned towards him of like, oh, he could actually do something. Like he could break this
Yeah.
up.
Because
But I'm not sure.
the last 100 he ran in June was like end of June. Clearly, he wasn't himself.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know.
He ran like a 10:38, and you
Oh,
had like Ben Azamati, Lawrence Johnson, Elo Johnson 10:06, so
okay.
it's but then that was before that 200 that you mentioned. But it's
Oh,
just
so then
like to kind
yeah,
of give you a measuring stick of like, granted that was almost 2 weeks later that 200, but I'm just saying the
yeah,
100 from because he didn't run from like he basically had a month where he didn't run from the LA
yeah,
Track Festival all the way down to that moment.
yeah. So
So in his hundreds, yeah, that LA Track Festival was his fastest 100 of the year.
yeah. Well, no, he ran 990 in like Florida, and then the
You're
LA
right,
Track
you're right, you're
Fest.
right. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
scroll down because
LA
that
Track
was
Fest
early
is where he
April.
got that was early
Yeah,
April, yeah, LA
April
Track
4th.
Fest, he got injured. That was the meet he got injured at. Like, he was, like, coming up 90 meters, and he, like, grabbed his leg, and I don't remember what time he ran, but he essentially got injured in that race.
Yeah, because it says he
Um,
won the final, but
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
ran 10:12.
Yeah, so essentially before that injury, I probably would have leaned towards Max of, like, okay, nah, like, he's probably up there, but, you know, if it's a question mark, I don't know, I can't say definitely. So
Well, I mean, hey, that's the chase pack. I mean, we could keep throwing out a bunch of other names. And I don't want to be that guy. It's just I thought the question was who's gonna win, and if they ain't gonna win, who's gonna give us a good show? And I know a lot of folk are gonna try, but like I said, who can go with the pace? And if you haven't shown me this year, I don't have anything in the past to hang my hat on. I'm not holding my breath coming into this USA's that you will. So I think it is those four guys. Interesting discussion then about the 200. Because last time I checked,
Yeah.
Kenny Bednarek isn't running.
No.
Like
So we
he's
got
already
Noah.
decided he's not running. But Noah
Yeah,
Lyles' name is still listed.
Noah. Really, it's a lot of the guys we already spoke about, like Noah, Christian, Jordan, they're all at least entered, but Kenny B is not. So that makes things interesting for the 200 because in that case, when we're looking at the 200, I actually feel like there would have been a better conversation of Noah versus Kenny. Now, that's not to say in any case I would have picked Kenny over Noah, but it would have just been a more interesting conversation because I mean, speaking of last year where Noah pulls out the 100, but what do we get in the 200? It was a close race, and obviously we saw that contention, pushing and all that, but that would have been a more interesting discussion in general. In general, that would have been like, okay, not only might we see maybe a close race, but also maybe some fast times. I don't know, but you know, unfortunately, we don't get Kenny, but we do get Noah, and this will be, I think, only his second 200. I think he only ran one 200 this year.
The
He's been,
19.9 at Tom
yeah,
Jones.
the 99 at I think Tom Jones, right?
And then he
So
ran the 150.
and then yeah, the 150, which I don't know.
World
I
best,
don't-
unofficial world record. That thing.
Yeah, I don't know what
That shit from
to
Shane.
exactly. So that will kind of be interesting because I think obviously it's clear Noah is like the clear favorite. Um, but I wonder how seriously I'm
Let's
assuming.
clarify that for the people in the back. How much is he the clear favorite when there's no Kenny?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, well that's what I was actually gonna say because yes, when there's no Kenny, it's clear. We need a Letsile or somebody in the race to be like, okay, Noah, you know, but he's such a clear favorite. What I was thinking of was, okay, how much fun is he going to have here coming off the 100? And I'll say, I'm assuming you're entered, you're running. Like who knows, people may do whatever. Like I'm just assuming you're running. So Noah has spoken about 2026 is about having fun, going out there doing his thing. So I wonder how he's going to bring that into the 200, especially considering he's such a big favorite. We'll talk about some of the other guys because I think behind him does get interesting. But I mean, yeah, Noah's a bar none. It's like it's,
When you say behind him, it's going to get interesting. Before we even had that discussion, how interesting is it to watch people far in the distance? Because
well,
it doesn't feel like anybody can challenge him. Remember, talk about going with the pace. Noah Lyles last year, if there ever was a time to beat that man in the in the 200-meter dash, last year was that time. I remember
mm,
before the 200-meter final at USA's, I'm saying out loud, like verbally stating, like I think my wife was probably in the room with me, and I'm like, if you don't beat him now, you ain't never gonna beat him.
yeah, it's tough.
Meaning, like, because he wasn't right, quote unquote, for a long period of the season, and coming into that moment with a lot of question marks. And again, Kenny was the guy who I was thinking of, and then Kenny loses, and it's the way he loses, where Noah was just like, I'm not losing this race.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
could
yeah,
it looked good till, and he did the same thing at Worlds, where I was like, if Kenny's ahead at 150, 160, and Noah's like close enough where he could reach out and touch him, the race is over.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's more or less what it was. Now there's no Kenny. So who's okay? Is Christian Coleman going to beat him off the turn?
Maybe, probably. He actually probably might. He might. He could.
Okay. How much time does Christian Coleman have before Noah comes and gets him? Like
Well,
let's mark it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Noah's running well, then maybe Christian doesn't beat him off the curve. No, I mean, I'm being honest because I think yeah, there's no competition for Noah in this race, like bar none. There's no
Oh,
competition.
no Courtney Lindsay either,
Oh yeah, Courtney Lindsay, that's true. He's only doing
and
the
no
100
Robert
as
Gregory.
well. Yeah, no Robert
It's the three
Gregory.
guys. So all three
Well,
guys
okay, yeah, who
who
qualified
went one,
last
two,
year?
three
Yeah, yeah,
last
yeah.
year in this event are all not running.
Yeah. Well, 2, 3, 2,
Well,
3, 4 behind
yeah,
Noah.
two,
Yeah,
three,
yeah, yeah,
four
yeah.
because we weren't counting Noah because he had a bye anyway and still ran.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, like it was everybody who was close to Noah before anyone else who showed up. What and T Mars ain't running either.
Yeah, team. Well,
And he
yeah,
ran
T-Mars.
19.7 before and was still in that final. So that's
Yeah,
4
T-Mars
fighters,
not
and the
in
3
there.
guys behind Noah are all not running. That's why it feels like he go the prelim for him is a training run.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
I mean,
that
of course.
200-meter prelim for him, that's a training run. Like, he can probably have, play with his phases a little bit and kinda like race model his way into the final. It ain't gonna be what he did at Worlds. We go 19.49 or 5.2
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever, but
1952. Yeah, in
this
the
ain't that.
semifinal. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, okay, let's be honest. Assuming Noah's going to win, who's going to, at the very least, make it look interesting? Because Max Thomas did make it look interesting at Chom Jones in the 200. Like, because Noah had to run him down.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think for similar reasons, and we spoke about it in the 100 before. It like there's question marks around Max because of his health. Now, again, he
Yeah.
did run this windy
2002, yeah.
20.0, but like I guess question marks. Now, if Max is healthy, then like I definitely slot him in as a strong contender. But this is actually why I say it gets interesting because okay, let's assume Max Thomas is healthy, so he's run 19.9 this year already. I think Jordan Anthony, he's also entered. He's he's very capable. I mean, his personal best is 19 was it 19.98 or something like that.
19.9
Um
mid, like 19, yeah.
yeah, 19.9 something. So he's who knows what he could do. Christian Coleman, also, we've seen him very frequently running. I mean, his personal best is 19.8 from some years back. Well, actually, not too long ago. Like in 2024, he ran 19.8. But he's always. I think actually at USA's last year, he was behind Robert Gregory. Like he was, I think he was the next behind. But essentially, like Christian Coleman is someone who makes it interesting as well. And this year, I think he ran 20.03 at that Star Athletics meet down in
Yeah.
Florida. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So I look at those guys, and you'd have Garrett Calland, who NCAA indoor champion. He ran 19.9 indoors. He got injured before in the middle of the season, so he pulled out of NCAA outdoors. But who knows what form he's in? So that's why I look at it as like, okay, behind Noah, to me, it's actually a very interesting conversation on like who's going to finish second and third. Who's going to finish in
Well,
those other
hmm,
spots.
if we're going off of last year's UFAs, like, using those results as the benchmark, I'm gonna
Hmm.
read to you the names based on just because I looked at the finals, where did they finish? And I'll even look back at the other data. Because this is one of those conversations where you kinda have to get exotic to make it one. I'm just being real. Because Noah's all the way out in the front, and these are the facts. So again, we're not trying to be harsh. If you're on the other end of the camera and you're in the comment section, shout out to you. Please let us have it. But we're gonna tell you what we're seeing. And I might
Mm.
even put this on the screen, who knows, depending on how I edit it. Noah Lyles wins 1963. Kenny B is behind him at 1967. Then you get Robert Gregory at 1980. So there's some gap between the 63 and the 80. Then you get
Yeah.
Courtney Lindsay, 1982. So that's your team. 1, 2, 3, 4, they all go because Noah had a bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arian Knighton, 1997. So
Oh,
remember,
true. I forgot. That's
Kenny
true.
Bednarek, Robert Gregory, Courtney Lindsay, Arian Knighton. None of them will be on the line, Arian Knighton specifically because of a ban. And then you
Yeah.
have Christian Coleman,
Yeah. So Christian
20.02
Ranster.
in that race. So technically, he's second. Like, if we just remove everybody, he's second. And then you have Kyrie King, who I think did he scratch as well due to injury or something?
He's entered. He's entered
Yeah.
to run here.
Okay, because I think he didn't start at a race or something like that. I remember recently.
Oh, okay. He might have pulled out. Okay, that
Yeah.
I don't
So again,
remember. He's at least
I don't know
entered.
severity. I just saw it with the DNS. So,
Got you. Got you.
Kyrie King was behind him, and then T Mars, who ain't running, and then Max, who we said is question marks about health. And then from that point on, you look at the other round prior, and at this point, I mean, I'm not even gonna call them the chase pack. It's just, I mean, can I say the quiet part out loud? The lane fillers?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I know
I
that's a
mean,
little aggressive. I'm just saying, like, the conversation we're having is winning and, like,
well,
being
the
right
conversation
up
is
there.
we're having is behind Noah. That's what
Yeah,
we're thinking about.
okay, that's true. Not even winning.
Yeah.
People who
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah.
like, because I'm looking at, like, there are a bunch of names and, like, yeah, there's people can run 20-point mid, but what is 20-point mid gonna do for what
Yeah.
we know Noah to be? If he's 'cause Tom Jones, to me, that shows me bare minimum. Like, a matter of fact, okay, let's actually do it this way. This is probably the most affectionate way I can have the conversation. What did Noah run at Tom Jones? 19.9? 19.9 not
1991.
okay.
1991, I think. Yeah.
Who can go that fast? Period. Like at any point in their life, who can do it? Who's still on the line?
You have Christian Coleman. You have uh you have Jordan is 19 mid. I forget his personal best. He's like 1994 or 1993 maybe. Um and then those two. Actually, Brandon Hickland, he ran 1992 this
Yep.
year, but it was down in Florida. Well, it was at that Star
Sprint
Athletics
Series,
meet.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think those are the guys who are entered
Who've ever
who,
gone that fast?
yeah, were at least in that range, like 19.9 low in that range. Because you have like Garrett Calland, he's run 19.95, but that was indoors in the 200. Well, actually, no, Garrett, he ran 19.8 last year. Actually, I'm forgetting. Yeah, Garrett Calland ran 19.85 last year at the NCAA like regional champs or something along those lines. So
Yeah, I
he's
see
done
that.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that. So he's done it. He's done it. So yeah, I mean, there's a few, but like that though, what I think actually is more important is like who's done it through rounds, right? We haven't seen now. Granted, all things considered, we've seen NCAA athletes do it through rounds, but like when I'm looking at USA's or like a world champs, then I'm looking at Noah Lyles, Christian Coleman, because well, yeah, Christian Coleman has done it. Christian Coleman has won USA's in the 200, I think, at some point, 2018, and he's made the team in 2017, and I think even 2019. Like he's like done rounds at USA's in the 200. So that's what I'm thinking about, where Christian Coleman starts to separate himself a little bit. And remember, all the guys last year, it was Noah, and then you had all the guys behind him. The next one was Christian Coleman. So that's maybe who I'm thinking of like he might separate himself. But Jordan also is capable because we saw him run the 200 in Tokyo at the at that Seiko Golden Grand Prix. He's developing talent, but it does get tricky. It gets tricky. That's actually to me why I find it interesting because it's like behind Noah, it's a grab bag. That I like that kind of competition. You know,
Yeah, well, that'll be the race that we're watching because I'm pulling up the names, and it is like you could. It gets hard to actually fill out a final with guys who broke 20 at any point in their life before the moment we're recording this video. Like that's what I'm trying to say. It's hard to fill out a final with men who've at any point in a wind legal race broke 20. I mean, many of them haven't done it ever, period. But I'm just talking about
yeah,
what's legal, like for the purposes of what I'm searching. And like, yeah, I found Brandon Hickland, Christian Coleman, Max Thomas at 1998, I believe, with a PR.
yeah, that was at Florida behind
Yeah.
Noah.
So like with Noah and Garrett Kalund, yeah, you're right, the 1985. So then, and then again, like you said, nobody knows what form he's in.
Mhm.
And after that,
And Jordan,
and Jordan, yeah, the
yeah,
1990,
Jordan as well. Yep, yep, yep.
and that was a regional race, NCAA regional,
Yeah,
because he went off at that meet. That's just what he was.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
totally, on one, at that time. So and he just come off winning SECs as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, it gets
so that's
tricky. I mean, after that, that's when you go a little bit farther back because I do know that Josephus Lyles, he's entered,
yeah,
he's run sub 20, but I
that's
think that
true.
was like 2022 or something along those
He was in that
lines.
final with the when Noah pointed at Arion, and
Yeah, 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 exactly. He was
he
in
was
that.
like
He was
5th
in
or
that
4th
final.
in that final, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like to a point, it goes back some years, right? Like it gets tougher to say. Obviously, shout out to Josephus, but like he's not in that form this year. He hasn't shown that form in some time. So we're not saying like, okay, he's a sub 20 guy right now. Um, so yeah, it is tricky just based on the field that we have. I don't know. That to me makes it kind of. I don't know. I find it very interesting. I'll say this. I think Jordan Anthony and Christian Coleman being here are very, very interesting because
Yeah.
Jordan last year, at NCAA's, like obviously he won the 100. He didn't win the 200, but like he gets to USA's and he doesn't even run the 200 after he didn't do well in the 100. But like this year, he's showcasing some good form in the 100. He ran that 200, so that makes it interesting. And then Christian Coleman, like we spoke about in the 100, he's at least rounding into some good form And you just said he ran 20.02 at USA's last year to get fifth. And this year he's already run 20.03. So in theory, I'm like, okay, he's probably trending better heading into
Yeah.
USA's.
He's heading into
So
he's gonna break 20.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
assuming, like, everything is the way one would hope, like, it's not a torrential downpour and, like, it's just a regular USA championship meet at Icon,
Exactly.
then in theory, like, I say regular is, because they don't do it at Icon, but,
Yeah.
like, the result, the circumstances are copacetic to what one would hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he's gonna break 20. So, like, okay, Noah's gonna have 'cause I'm trying to figure out, like, does Noah even have to run? That's what I'm asking. Like, 1991, if that's the line, because this what when I did stat reports on Noah's 200, aside from the, like, undefeated on the circuit and all that stuff,
Hmm.
he'd be opening his season where y'all can't finish for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, that's just again, can you go with the pace? His worst races, y'all can't go that fast ever.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like, the first round for him is really just moving his legs at that point while other people are trying to get to the final. Because there's nobody
Yeah.
who is getting to the final from what I can tell without putting real effort in the way that he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where the gap really establishes. I mean, I'll ask it this way then. Does winning this 200 mean anything other than another 200-meter title at the USA's for Noah?
Oh, for no, like it's all due respect. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean, it doesn't for literally all the things like you go back to 2019. He won it. I think that's when he won his first USA uh title in the 200 at least. So it's like you know he's I don't know. It's just like every single year. Obviously, the Olympics you don't get a wild card, but like every single World Championships, he's had a wild card. So he hasn't like in theory had even needed to compete at USA's. But there's been many years where he had in theory, tough competition going into USA's, but he showed up. He didn't have to show up last year when Kenny B was like running very well, but he did, and he beat him. He didn't have to show up in 2022 when Ariane Knighton had just run 19.4 right before then. And the conversation was like, oh, Ariane is going to beat Noah. Noah shows up just for the sake of it and wins USA's, right? So that's why it's like here,
Just for the sake of it.
literally, and like here, it really is just like, it doesn't mean much for Noah outside of like, okay, this is another race, another opportunity for me to like get my legs moving in a 200, and then kind of go about the rest of the season. Now, that doesn't sound great because like everyone else is like, okay, nah, I want to get this title, whatever, whatever. Like, for Noah, I mean, this doesn't actually mean, it doesn't mean much. I mean, let me not say that. Like individually, like him as an individual, I don't know what his mindset is. Maybe this does mean a lot of like defending my title, making sure I could rack up US titles and all that. Maybe it does, but like in the grand scheme of things, if Noah doesn't run the 200, no one's gonna blink an eye. Like he'll go on to his next race.
I mean, I'll just take what you said and run with it down the street a little bit, which is Noah's in this weird pocket where, again, Time Magazine didn't list him as like top, like, influential athletes, but they listed him as top people, as an icon, not as an athlete. Like, they listed him in, I think there was a Formula One driver was the only other,
Mm,
athlete icon on that list. So I guess that list is more powerful. But the question is, when they call him an icon and don't put him on the athlete list, which to me is nutty, um, just didn't I don't really fully process that.
mm,
So it kind of brings up this discussion. Noah is an athlete first.
yeah.
There's a whole bunch of other things. A whole bunch of other things. And I even saw him, I think it was like a YouTube video that was out where he's, like kind of narrating like a GOAT debate about like who is the greatest athlete of all time.
Oh
And
yeah,
in
yeah,
some
yeah.
way, or like he like part of like the judge or whatever. But
Yeah,
from
like
what
a
I
panel.
understand, track and field wasn't even really represented. I didn't watch it from what I can understand. It wasn't represented, even
I think
though,
the only thing was Bolt. They were talking about Usain
yeah.
Bolt,
Okay, they
but
threw him in. All right. So
But like for context, Bolt they were doing like rankings. Bolt didn't make it out the first round. So that's just to give context of like all the other athletes in all the other sports.
and like how they view them, yeah.
Yeah.
So I say all of that to say that, or like to get to this key point. When I say he's an athlete first, what it means is if Noah stops winning things, then how much of that iconography really counts? Because being the fastest man, using that terminology does require you to like run faster than other folk. And
Mhm.
if you don't have world records, which he doesn't, an American record don't mean much to the global
Yeah.
sports community because they're not
Yeah.
American. And the wider sports community doesn't seem to care because they didn't know who had the American record before. If it was the world
Yeah.
record, they understood that, but they don't think of I don't think Americans know who the American record holder is in anything.
Yeah.
Like in the general sports community, only trackety track folk
Mhm.
would be able to call that out. So I guess even though it doesn't mean anything in terms of like legacy, like if he didn't run it, it would be okay. It's kind of like another opportunity for him to kind of be seen as an athlete. Another press clipping. Because I'll just say this:
Yeah.
if Noah didn't run the 200, let's say he doesn't run the 200 for whatever the reason, somebody else is gonna have to win. Is ESPN gonna run the story? No. If Noah wins, they will run a story. Like there will be like a blurb that will show up on the ESPN app. Now, you
Mhm.
might miss it. It might be gone real fast with like some crazy news out of the NBA or MLB trade or something. But
Yeah.
at least you get a blurb. You see what I'm saying? Like if he
Yeah.
doesn't run, we don't even get that much. So maybe that's what makes him an icon, the fact that he quite literally puts the sport on the map. Because otherwise, I don't know how many people would even realize that a USA championship is happening if
No.
someone, especially on the men's side, if he's not competing. So the fact that he's like, I say thank you that he's even just humoring us by
Yeah.
putting his name down on both when, as you say, he doesn't technically need to, and I would agree. He doesn't need to do it in any way. He has nothing left to prove.
Yeah, yeah. Literally nothing to prove. And even then, I actually do agree that like him just like getting his continuing to win, it just like adds to him as an athlete and adds to his larger status of like, okay, he is someone who always wins. There is an aspect there is an aspect though of like the wins that actually which wins actually matter, right? So, for example, Noah just lost his last race. We actually didn't even mention it when we were talking about the 100. I mean, granted, he lost to Trayvon, and Trayvon's not running at USA's, but like he lost that race. Now, in the grand scheme of things, there were definitely headlines of like, maybe Noah loses a race or something like that, but it's not going to break through like other big races. Like if he did lose at world champs, but like, that's why I'm like, the weight of certain meets matters to a certain degree. If he pulls out of USA's or if Jordan Anthony or Christian Coleman, if they beat him here, people aren't going to say, "Oh yeah, Noah Lyles is no longer the best American," or like, and I'm talking about like the general public. Like, all due respect, they're not going to know Jordan Anthony like that. They're going to still think, "Oh, we just saw Noah down in Florida at F1. Oh, we just saw Noah,
Yeah.
doing putting the ball out, at FIFA and all that." Like, they're going to still recognize that. So that it's a balance where it's unfortunate for our sport where a meet like this should matter and it should get attention because we have some of the top athletes. But I also understand, and this is all due respect. It's like Noah kind of even said earlier this year, he's like, "I'm just having fun this year." So like, does anything matter to him? Right? Obviously, he wants to do well in individual meets, but he literally said, "I'm just having fun this year." It's not like, "Oh, I need to win XYZ this year." That even kind of plays against what we would want the sport to be seen as of like, no, this is serious. Like this is, professional, right? Like, no, this is important. You win USA's, that's a big deal. But the narrative isn't like that. And all due respect, again, the lower level athletes who are like, no, I need to win this, they're not Noah. So they're not making when they are like, yo, I need to win USA's, I need to win USA's, it's not gonna make as much noise. So, but I do agree that like Noah winning a race like this or winning this meet is like, okay, now that's a big deal. But I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, we'll find out. I mean, I'll be. I mean, there's no part of me that thinks that we're going to be watching anything other than a race for second place. However,
Yeah.
for those who will be watching it, if you're seeing, the Peacock stream, or if NBC does end up, pushing some of this out on network, I also don't know how much conversation is going to be about that part either. I think it's just
Mm.
going to be Noah wire to wire. And we'll just be, graced to kind of, count it up because as DJ Khaled would say, another one.
Sha'Carri Richardson is going to be making her way onto the track in the 100, and she's entered in the 200. So she's entered in both the 100 and the 200. And this is going to be a really big meet for her. Now, she's been having a really great 2026 after, some setbacks in 2025. She actually didn't compete fully at USA's in 2025. I think she only ran one round at the 100 or something like that, maybe. But she didn't go through to the final in the 100. But now she's been having a very good season, run couple different races in the 200 early on in China. Then she went to the 100. She, ran 10.7 a couple times. But now I'm looking at this USA's and Sha'Carri Richardson. We're going to see her against Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. We're going to see her against, athletes like Kayla White and Tamara Davis and, all these other women, Cambria Sturgis. But I wonder, how much does Sha'Carri need to win this, let's say, 100 at USA's? Because again, she's entered in both, but like, how much does Sha'Carri need a win at USA's here? Do you think it's like imperative, or is it like it's not that big of a deal?
I mean, when you say imperative, there's two sides. There's the sports
Mm,
community and the track community. For
hmm
the sports community, it don't matter. She could go into the vault, come back LA 2028. And I'll
That's
actually
that's true.
for the sports community. And I'm coming back to that in a moment. For the track community, she is supposed to win to kind of like validate the official comeback. Had she won Prefontaine, you see what I'm saying? Like, let's say she won
Mm,
Prefontaine, because again, it doesn't matter, an inch or a mile, a win is a win. You know,
yeah.
if that's what we're doing, shout out to the Fast and the Furious. So in that case, if she had won by an inch, I think she could have quote unquote pulled out of the final and just kind of been like, I'm still that girl or still that woman.
hmm
But that would be withstanding. Like now, especially if Melissa pulled out, she has to win
Yeah, yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah,
track
yeah.
community. And assuming it's her and Melissa, she a win against her in this forum would be strong validation to like put to rest some of the detractors because nobody I think gets attacked more than Sha'Carri in terms of like people trying to act like the talent isn't there. I'm not a part of that crowd.
Mm,
I think she's had a lot of things that get in her way that are not track related, that affect the track, perhaps. But I'm not going to pretend that, again, the pace, people go with the pace? No. Most of you just don't have it to go with what she's capable of. And they forget, whether it was these Miramar races, kind of put Miramar on the map, if you will,
mhm.
like, people don't they rewrite the narrative. But no,
Yeah.
in that regard, I'll say the track community wants to see it. The reason why I say the sports community doesn't care is because it's sort of like by now she has already proven like, to the wider sports community, like, I am Sha'Carri Richardson. I am that woman. And remember when Noah wins the 100-meter, at the Olympic trials? He looks dead into the camera and says, "Tell America, I got this." As
Yeah.
far as America feels when we get to LA 2028, without watching any races between now and then, they feel like if she don't got it for us, we don't got this.
Yeah.
That's
And the
that's
the
my
general
argument.
public
The general
maybe.
public feels like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
either
yeah.
Sha'Carri finna do it for us or it's not getting done.
Yeah. That
Because
is
remember,
true.
Jamaica been on a tear at the games up until Julian Alfred snatches it from America.
Yeah.
So you got to go back to when for an American woman to win it. What, 2000?
1996.
There you go.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, no, 1996 because Marion Jones was banned. Her
There you
2000 was
go.
removed. Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? Like we are now going to be heading to at that point. Whew, you talking 30 years, right?
Literally. I mean,
About
by
to
the
be
time we
30
get
years.
to LA, it's
Yeah,
over 30 years.
it's about to be
Like,
over 30 years for an American woman to win an Olympic gold in a 100-meter dash. And the feeling is, if Sha'Carri don't got us, Nobody got us. Now, Melissa got something to say about it, and that's a part of this discussion.
Of
But
course.
it does. So that's where I start the negotiations. Yeah, she's supposed to win. And when I look at these field, like looking at the field, what American women have run this year, Sha'Carri's at the top of the list. 1077 plus point three. Melissa 1078. Eugene, 00, like right under it. 100th.
Mhm.
After that, you go down to Brianna Selby. Once you hit the college girls, I'm already tuning out. Ain't nobody else who's not a college girl broke 10.9. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
we running time trials after that.
Yeah, yeah. I do agree on Sha'Carri that, like, the public and it's crazy because it's not like you said, you could put her in a vault and just pop her back out in 2028, and, like, that's all people need to remember because she's past the idea of, like, oh, she needs to win races to maintain, her status or maintain, her presence in the general public's, appreciation. They're not even thinking about her winning. It's all the things it's just her presence that is like, "Oh, no, yeah, Sha'Carri is track and field to a decent group of people." It's like Usain Bolt. Oh, yeah, and then Sha'Carri, like, in terms of just who they know. So, for them, yeah, she doesn't have to win anything. But to the track community, I think this is a very, very important race in terms of 100 and the weekend in general for Sha'Carri, I think, because so last year, she obviously dealt with injuries and setbacks. She got to the World Championship final. I think that was the only time she ran sub 11 seconds. But this year, now she's come back. And not only has she come back, but she's shown the form that got her to who she was before, where she was running those 10.7s in the year, before she got to the World Champs in 2023. So now, okay, she lost to Melissa Jefferson-Wooden at Prefontaine Classic, but she was close, literally just barely got edged out. Now at USA's, it's almost adding to the story of like, okay, you're getting back, but can you actually do it? Right. Or is it just like, you're going to kind of like be on the edge, from here on out or something like that? Again, this is obviously to the track community, the people who are like following, because she has to a degree, almost get back to, I guess, the good graces in the sense of it's been a while since Sha'Carri was winning. Like, we got to be honest, it's been a while. So, is she going to be able to say, okay, now I'm back at the top of the United States? And I don't know. So, at least on the surface, that's why I think it's very important. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe. I don't know.
The thing about it, when you say it's been a while, immediately I said, well, how long has it been? And we saw the Olympic final. She goes out and wins that Diamond League against Julian Alfred right after. So underachieved her way to a silver medal, which is all the testament to her talent you need, but underachieved her way there. And then win the Diamond League race. But that's not the last thing we saw that year. She
Yeah.
comes back for a Diamond League final and essentially just stopped trying. Like, for whatever was going on,
Mm,
the first 60 meters just totally goes off the reservation. And then she almost doesn't even really finish through the line. Like, she's just kind of like almost walking by the time she gets there, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. She's like, the season's over. Like, yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah. So if that's what it was, I think that was the beginning of the image from there till what we saw this season when it started. Because last year did not help in any way, shape, or form. The only thing she did was hold on for dear life in a 4x1 with Janelle Smith coming together.
Mm, mm,
Am I missing that?
yeah.
Because I was watching the race. So y'all not gonna fool me. I
No.
saw what happened. She got the stick. She was ahead this time. Because what is it? Paris 2024.
Paris.
Yeah. She actually did that. Like that leg right there, she tell America I got this. That's the quote now. Tell America I got this. Germany ain't got nothing on me. Right? She did that. 2025 was not the same. If you put
Yeah.
that same leg and move that to Paris, we definitely ain't gold, probably not silver. Maybe we get a medal.
Mm.
Am I right? But we definitely
She
ain't gold.
was, yeah, Janelle Smith was running Sha'Carri down,
Yeah,
bar none. Yeah.
yeah. Now, she might have had the run of her life, Janelle Smith. That said, Sha'Carri still got to be underachieving for
Yeah.
someone like that to be come in and get her. So, because remember, we just saw Janelle Smith at Prefontaine with her, and she's
Yeah,
behind.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, like more than a tenth back. So, anyway, that's where the 100 meter starts. But when we think about okay, Melissa next to her, does it matter? How much? If Melissa for some reason isn't running, what did that do for the race then?
Well, it's all about now. It is, of course, all about Sha'Carri, right? It's like Sha'Carri. I think for me, then hypothetically, if Melissa isn't running, if we just took Melissa out the conversation, then to me it becomes how far ahead of the field is Sha'Carri Richardson, right? That I think is important because we saw her at the LA Grand Prix. She ran 10.7, right? That was like 10.7, 10.77, right? Or no, I'm sorry. She ran 10.9
Oh,
at the LA Grand Prix.
yeah,
She ran
yeah, yeah, yeah.
10.77 in
At
Florida.
that,
Sorry.
yeah, the friend series, yeah.
Yeah, I was mixing up. But then, so there was that. And then she comes to, and so I'm thinking of the 10.77 was a big gap to, I think Shawnee Miller-Weibo was in second, didn't even break 11 seconds. Similar to LA Grand Prix, I think Kayla White was in second, but like she was a decent portion ahead. Then we get to the Prefontaine Classic where it was a close race. She gets edged out by Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. If you remove Melissa hypothetically from USA's, Sha'Carri needs to have a gap of what she did in Florida, of what she did in LA. Like that's what it needs to be because you I mean in theory, and I say that in the sense of like regardless of the time, like if she runs 10.9, then in theory the rest of the field should be back at like
11
11.1 or
something.
something like that. Yeah. Because Sha'Carri is a world champion. She's an Olympic silver medalist. She just went toe to toe with the reigning world champion Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, right? Like that's the realm that she's playing in. She's not in a chase pack. She is supposed to be like the top. I mean, it's and it's like there's the evidence is there in terms of the medals won, the time, all that stuff. So that's what I would be looking for if Melissa was like out of the conversation. Okay, how does Sha'Carri fare against the rest of the field? If it's close, that raises some questions.
Yeah. But
If it's.
there's no part of me that thinks it's not those two women on a different planet than everybody else right now. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
like I, it, and you have to say it that way because she looked better now than she did last year. Last season, by all estimations, crashed and burned. And she somehow, well, because she had a bye, she gets to Worlds. So that's the first thing.
Yeah, she
She
had the wild card.
survived because of the bye. But when she finally gets there, she makes the final and figures out how to not be in last. Like she's in like fifth or sixth.
Yeah, she finishes 5th place. Yeah,
Yeah.
5th
So it's
place.
like basically she had a terrible season by all estimations for whatever standard we're holding her to. But everybody who's showing up to run this meet who ain't Melissa would trade seasons.
Oh, wait. Oh, with Sha'Carri.
Everybody
Like,
else who's about to run this 100 has never gone that well at a Worlds, right? Am I missing something? I'm looking at all the names that the
oh,
people who
yeah.
are actually going to run. Nobody who's going to actually try to beat her has ever gone fifth at the World Championships or higher.
Oh, no, 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 no. No, definitely not.
I mean,
No. I
Tamari
mean,
Davis made a final, but Tamari
Tamar
Davis
Davis made the final. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not. Is it safe to say that she ain't been running like Tamari Davis from what we remember?
Yeah, I mean, she's like seems to be rounding into form. Last year wasn't good for her. She's like rounding into form, but it's not like the Tamari.
Not
I'm
2023.
yeah, exactly. It's not 2023 Tamari. Yeah, I think the only people are Tamari and Brittany Brown. Unfortunately, Brittany has been injured, so a bunch of question marks. But like she, she made the final in 2023. Obviously, in the 200, she has medals. But like to your point, Sha'Carri, Melissa, those are the only two women who are racing at USA's who are like, oh no, we've been to a final, and like you said, Sha'Carri was 5th last year after being injured and dealing with whatever last year, like not having a good season. So no one else has been able to do something like that. So yeah, to your point, that's true.
Because see, I'm at a point where Sha'Carri is like, this is gonna sound super crazy to say
Uh,
this out loud. It's only gonna be like, stay with me for the people in the back. Stay with me. NBA 2K created this thing called My Team, where they have
mm.
cards that represent athletes. So you could have a specific card for an athlete, and then there could be another card for that same athlete. In other words, different versions of the same person. Sha'Carri feel like My Team. She got different versions. That's how it feels. Like
Mm.
it's not just one version of Sha'Carri showing up to race. So it's like that 2023 World Championship card. You see what I'm saying? Like what that one is, the overall rating of that one ain't what we got in 2025. Am I right? Like,
Yeah.
it was a it was on
Yeah.
she's still Sha'Carri, it's still her, it's just it's not performing at the same level. So,
Yeah.
whatever we're doing right now is somewhere in between those 2. We don't know if it is 2023 almost. I feel like it's much closer to 2023 than it is 2025.
But I think it's not even in the 2025, it's 2025. I mean, she was injured in 2025, so, like, I can understand why, like, she literally didn't run sub 11 until that world championship final,
Yeah.
and she pulled out of a whole bunch of races. I think I actually I actually think I know I guess in general, there is that narrative that, like, there's different versions of Sha'Carri. I actually think she's been more consistent than people give her credit for in 2023 and 2024. Because 2024, it was really only the Olympic final and then that Brussels race. But like in general, she was running relatively well that year. 2023 was like that was like the best of the best. But like how many seasons are you going to be able to replicate that?
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's run 10-7 twice this year, and the only person she's lost to in the 100 is Melissa. Like, and Melissa had to run 10-7. So I think this year is already trending, if not in a similar realm towards what we saw in 2023. That I'm not saying she's gonna run 10-6 again, but like she's having a very, very, very good year, all things considered already.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think she at least 80 to 90% of what 2023 was.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And if she's 80 to
Yeah.
90% of that, Melissa's the only person here who makes give me any level of pause. Again, I'm gonna scroll through all the names of people who actually ran races. Keep in mind, Gabby Thomas with her 1095 is, theoretically speaking, would have been in the final if she wanted to run this 100. If we're just going off of clocks. So,
Yeah.
when you say that, like, say it and let it sit for a moment. Again, like, shout out to Shanti Jackson, Jasani Carter. I don't even know if
Yeah.
Brianna Selby is running. No, Cambria Sturgis is probably the next up.
She's not running.
Oh, she's not?
She's only doing the 200. Yep.
But there you go. I mean, fine then. I said Cambria Sturgis is next up. So, for what we're doing
Yeah.
it feels like it's the Sha'Carri show unless Melissa Jefferson-Wooden can stop her. But now, before we move off of this, do you have any expectation, the one, that Sha'Carri will actually run the 200, and 2, if she does, that she could win it? Even okay, let's play the game again. Because I'm not even gonna be crazy. If Melissa runs the 200, it's over. It's a wrap. Like, ain't none of
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
fine taking her because from what we've seen. Because she ran the 200 earlier this year, and we're just going off of that form and moving it forward. So
Yeah.
my point then is, would she could Sha'Carri win it without Melissa? Could she be right there
She
behind her?
She could, but, like, I mean, you look at someone like Kayla White, who just ran sub
Yeah,
22 seconds. Like I said, Cambria Sturgis is only running a 200. She's run sub 22 seconds. Like,
yeah,
it actually it actually is more interesting if you remove Melissa in the 200. So, yeah, Sha'Carri, it's not a f n no, she would have a lot of competition in the 200 if Melissa let's just assume everyone is there. Sha'Carri in the 200 is, like, teetering second to like fourth or something. And who knows what, I don't know, like one of these NCAA athletes may pop off. Like the 200 is a tougher situation for Sha'Carri, all things considered.
yeah. And I just pulled up the 200-meter list because Kayla White and Cambria Sturgis are right up there at the top. Because again, when we
Yeah.
say sub 22, that's a short list.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because we be acting like it's not, just because the world record and like these times jumped all the way down to the other side. But breaking 22 in the women's 200 is pretty hard to do. So Kayla White even getting to the other side, like, no, actually, I'll say this part for if people don't remember. Kayla White, NCAA champion indoors at North
Yep.
Carolina A&T. She
Yep.
didn't win it outdoors,
2019.
right?
No, she got third outdoors in 20. Actually, the year that Sha'Carri was there, she got third. I think she got third at NCAA's that year,
Okay.
third or fourth
Oh, all right.
outdoors.
Because who won that one, the 200 then that year?
It was an Angie Nellis,
Okay,
and
yeah,
then
but like out of left field.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Like
yeah.
for what?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, Angela Nellis was the defending champion that
In
year,
college,
but she
yeah, but like she
yeah, in
didn't,
college, in college.
like, for like as a, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, like at the track
Yeah,
fan,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
they
No, that makes
register
sense.
that name. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't even know if she really did much running after. NCAA. And then Cambria Sturgis was a double
She
champion.
won the double in 2021. Yeah, both
So
the
you see
100
what I'm
and
saying? Like, it's
200.
not and
Yep.
they're at the top now. That's why I point them out. And then, of course,
Yeah,
Gabby
exactly.
Thomas is not running
She's not running here at USA's in the
at
200.
USA's at all, but it would have been her. So, because see, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, let's move to that.
Hmm.
She ran the 200 once, 22:17, and
Yeah,
that
that was
was
her
second.
first race of the year, her
Yeah,
first individual race of
yeah,
the year.
first individual race of the year behind Julian Alfred, and that was, still top 8 amongst the USA women, and I'm just tossing out the college girls. So, at that point, it's Cambria Sturgis, Kayla White, and Gabby Thomas, and
Yeah,
Gabby Thomas isn't running because that's a real discussion, Gabby Thomas versus, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden.
Miss Melissa. Yeah,
Do you think from what we've seen, no part of me and actually, I'm gonna do it a different way. Do you think, 1, let's start here. Melissa Jefferson Wooden versus Sha'Carri Richardson in the 100. Do you believe Melissa is supposed to win?
I think I don't think she's supposed to win. Supposed to is tough because she is the favorite for sure. I think most people agree Melissa is the favorite when looking at the 100 and obviously the 200, but just the 100. Like she's the favorite considering what she did last year and considering in their last race, head to head in the 100, Melissa got the best of Sha'Carri. And, it was a close race and all that, but like that's what we do track and field for. It's like you line up together, regardless of the time. They went head to head, and Melissa got the win. Just like you said, I don't care how close it was, you got the win, right? Noah Lyles is an Olympic champion. I don't care how close it was, but he's an Olympic champion. So I think Melissa is the favorite. Now, for me personally, I don't know if it's like she's supposed to win or like I think I'm not going to be shocked in any capacity if Sha'Carri wins. I really actually think it's more of a flip of a coin, even if I still think Melissa is the favorite. Because like that race in Prefontaine, Melissa had to like work to get that win, right? Like she had to really work and she was like straining at the end of it, at least like, leaning or whatever. So I don't know. Melissa's a favorite, but I think it's actually closer than we want to assume. Um, but she's trending in the right direction. Like this is probably a race. It's close. It's very close. I'm a little unsure. But I let me say this. I think Melissa, like I'm picking Melissa to get the win here, but Sha'Carri winning should not surprise anyone in any capacity because Sha'Carri is talented and Melissa is extremely talented. So I don't know. It's a little I don't know.
I'm gonna say, well, we're talking about Melissa, but if you're asking me to make a choice, I'm taking Sha'Carri in 100.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I am, but, like, again, I think she needs it more. That's why. Like,
But
Melissa,
do you think she's actually going to
I think she
do it?
wants it. I think she wants it because, let's be honest, like, Melissa got other options to beat you. Like she had a whole 'nother event with a better report there, and it just feels like I guess last season, using that as an indication, assuming like whoever that person was is able to maintain that energy. How put it? I'm gonna say it another way. I feel like Melissa Jefferson Wood is more like undistracted. Like
Mm.
I feel like she's in the track community and hasn't broken out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 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 of
Like, she
course.
might have went on, whatever, Jennifer Hudson's show and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, like, those people didn't really know what they were watching. You know what I mean? Like, they just saw her up there with the medals, whereas Sha'Carri is Sha'Carri. So, I mean, on one end, like, Melissa has a standard now that has been pretty consistent for a period of years and has only gotten better over time. That said, I think Sha'Carri needs it more. So, like, and this is
Mhm.
like a prime opportunity for her to win something that might be understood in the track community as a thing, even if it's not the thing. Again, we're talking about the
Yeah.
track community, not the sports community. The
Yeah,
sports
yeah, yeah,
community is
yeah.
different. Like, it's like wider, like the people don't get it. But for Melissa then in this 100, it is a
Mm.
back and forth. I mean, we're not going to speculate about, whatever rumblings there are about like, conversations, behind Star Athletics or like there's other channels to have that discussion. What we know is both women are slated to run. They're going to run the 100-meter dash. We don't see anybody who has their requisite level of talent, right?
Mhm.
Like consistently. Remember, these are your USA champions in order. 2021 Olympic trials, Sha'Carri Richardson. 2022
Mhm.
USA Championships, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. 2023 USA's Sha'Carri. 2024 Olympic trials, Sha'Carri. Melissa behind her. 2025 was Melissa second that year?
2025, Melissa won last year. She was
Oh, sorry,
undefeated.
2024 Olympic trials.
Oh, yeah, 2024, she was second. Yeah, it was
There
Sha'Carri,
you go.
Melissa,
So it's Sha'Carri,
227. Yep.
Melissa, and then 2025 Melissa wins. Sha'Carri doesn't run it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So what you're saying? So like that's it. Like we just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down,
yeah. Literally, those two.
half a decade. It's just these two women.
Yep.
Where let's be real, if you ain't those two, you ain't winning. So that conversation is going to have to get broken up at some point. But I'll tell you one thing: it ain't 2026 because the Deja
No.
Howard ain't running for America. So
Deja, Julian, like,
none of
none
that
of
matters. They might train
yeah.
here, but they don't run. They don't run for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So for what could? Okay, the best thing I could say about Melissa when we talk about this 100 is you're right. It is a coin flip. You're free to take Melissa. It's a great decision. I mean, to take. I mean, for the purpose of the argument, I'm taking the other side because somebody has to. But what I'm trying to say is, America. When I talk about the world beaters, like the people who've beaten the world on the women's side in the short sprints, we only got two on the 100. That's it. We have two. We have two, and that's two more than most countries. But we have two world
Yeah.
beaters. We got Gabby Thomas also in the 200 to join them. That's
Mhm.
it. But when you remove the world beaters, we start looking real pedestrian real fast.
Mhm.
Because we got
Mhm.
fast people, like a boatload of people on the bench. The problem is the bench folk, a lot of them can get into the final, but they can't win it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Because when the Clayton Twist sisters come up and they're like ready to run, when Sharika's ready to run, when, I mean, like for that matter, even Amy Hunt's
Julian
ready
and
to
all
run.
them. Well, yeah, that's true.
Like there's a whole bunch of people who, when they come, again, forget Julian Alfred, like when they're ready to go
Mhm.
and we go to the bench, it's not the same as when, and again, they might get into the final. That's true. And they might even push close to, like, push close to the podium. So what Melissa did is she totally, she doubled our output when it came to the world beaters,
Mm.
like single handedly. She doubled it in two events. She doubled it in the 100 and in the 200 all at the
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's why it's like she's the easy choice now. It's just that she's still in the track community. I feel like winning this means nothing.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, because she just won last year. So it's just like, oh, we're doing this again?
Well,
And
now
Gabby's not running the
as
200.
and Gabby's not running it too, yeah. Actually, as you were kinda talking, I actually think Melissa might need this. I never wanna say an athlete definitely needs something, but, like, this actually might be very important for Melissa, if not as equally important for Sha'Carri. Because because of, like, last year and what we saw in Prefontaine in the sense that I don't subscribe to it. I say if you won a gold medal, if you won a medal, like, you deserve it no matter what. But unfortunately, the narrative is Melissa won because certain people weren't fully fit last year, right? Like Sha'Carri wasn't fully healthy. Sharika was dealing with some things. That unfortunately is the narrative. Obviously, Shelly-Ann was like, retiring and stuff. And Julian dealt with something. Unfortunately, that's the narrative. Now, again, I don't agree with it because Melissa ran 10.61. It's not like she ran 10.8 and won gold. But all of that aside, that's also why at Prefontaine, after she won, she was really, really amped up. And she did a whole bunch of interviews and was saying, like, yo, I wanted this. Like, she was hyped. And because she understands the narrative that has been going on, at least this is the track community, obviously, like what people have been saying. So you get to a race now where we saw Prefontaine, Sha'Carri's healthy, and she beats her out. Cool, that's one race. But to your point of the last time that they actually met at USA's, whether it's USA Champs or Olympic trials, Sha'Carri beat Melissa. Now, this was before the Melissa that we know today. And in 2022, Sha'Carri wasn't there. Well, she didn't make it into the final, at USA's. 2021, Melissa wasn't there. She's still super young. So that I think all leads to this point where it's like, if Sha'Carri beats Melissa, that adds to the narrative that Melissa's trying to fight against of like, oh, you just won last year because Sha'Carri wasn't healthy or, other people weren't healthy. That that might lead me to be like, there's an aspect of like this meaning a lot for Melissa. Like if she wins, this is actually a very big win for Melissa, narrative wise, and based on how she's been doing her interviews afterwards. Because again, to your point, we all know it. Like Melissa, she did this stuff after world champs. She went on Jennifer Hudson. She did like Good Morning America. She did the Mr. Beast thing. But like Sha'Carri is still Sha'Carri. Sha'Carri, as we said, she doesn't have to run for the public to be like she's the best. And Melissa's trying to almost like break through to say, actually, I'm not only faster than Sha'Carri, like on the clock in terms of personal best, I also had like a whole winning streak. I went undefeated last year. Like you can say on paper that Melissa has had a year that Sha'Carri hasn't had yet. Because 2023, Sha'Carri lost to Julian Alfred right before the world champs. So I think she is trying to break over that narrative. And if she loses to Sha'Carri, that doesn't help it. So I don't know. I don't know. Again, I as an individual who follows the sport, like I understand the nuances. Like Melissa is like all that, but I can understand like this could be kind of important. I kind of like just thinking through it. It's kind of important for Melissa. So I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like kind of talking through it. It's kind of important a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, see, I'm looking something up historically,
Hmm.
and the reason why is because I'm trying to understand how other people view things, right?
Hmm.
So, because our world championships versus the Olympics, we all know it's not the same, right? So,
Yeah.
when it comes to the FIBA World Championships for basketball compared to the Olympics, right? Because the
Okay.
USA won Olympic basketball in 2024. We sent our basketball
Mm.
Avengers over and they win. But 2023, the World Cup or World Championships for basketball, that went to Germany.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
And in 2019, it goes to Spain.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so, and then what was it? Yeah, and in 2014, I think USA did win it in 2014. That's the last time that like we won the World Cup. But what I'm saying is, why did Spain and Germany win? And keep in mind, in that time frame, to USA basketball was also taking losses to Nigeria and so on and so forth in exhibitions. Like I'm just like these are all things that actually happened, but nobody
Mm.
seems to remember or care because we weren't even sending the A team. Like we called the A team and all the A teamers said we're not going.
Mhm.
And then they were just like, all right, let's just start pulling folk. Where there's guys wearing red, white, and blue who we didn't even think of as all stars,
Mhm.
like in our professional league. Remember, we got an East and a West or whatever they're trying to do. And these folk were still going over there representing. And it's like, no disrespect to, a Bobby Portis or whatever. Like nobody associates them as America's best basketball players. So I think that's why the world championships for Melissa, it's different because you're right. The sports community doesn't respect it, but I think they don't respect it because they're associating with what other World Cups and World Championships that they're seeing. See, soccer does it backwards, where the World Cup is all that matters, and the Olympics mean nothing,
Yeah.
especially for
Yeah,
men's
yeah,
soccer.
yeah.
Like it means nothing. That's why they didn't even do like the men's soccer like with the national teams for 2024. They just sent the under 23 teams. It's like they'll actually try compared to the adults who are like the senior national teams have other fish to fry. But
Mhm.
if that's true, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no Worlds this year.
Yeah.
World Ultimate doesn't have the mystique behind it, and that's really important. I think history does matter to track fans. Like, it matters a great deal in terms of, like, perception. So that's why I still go back to, like, nothing Melissa does at this USA Championship is going to address any of the concerns. So it feels like I know she wants it. I don't doubt that. And I know she's again,
Mhm.
I don't think she's distracted. I think she's a top flight competitor. It's just that like when you win something and then when you win it again, like or try to win, it's always harder the second time around. That's step one. And because you can't catch anybody surprising. I mean, not even third time around because she won 2022. So like, but I mean, like it's harder. But I'm also just thinking about like the motivation factor of like what's going to make the difference in, for example, the 100-meter final. It's going to come down to me to who wants it more because they're both going to be trained by the same coach. They're both going to be ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like the difference is going to be that little extra bit of something. And the question is, well, okay, let me ask you another way, because I'm actually trying to get somewhere specific. Do you actually believe that Sha'Carri Richardson running at the best we could ever get from her is not enough to beat Melissa at her absolute best?
No, it's not. I mean, on paper, it's not, and we've
Okay.
seen it. Yeah, I'm actually, definitely not. And obviously, I think Sha'Carri has like a ton of talent, but uh, like Sha'Carri's 2023 season, which was her best season, she ran 10.7 a whole bunch of times, and then she capped it off with the 10.6. Melissa's best season, 2025, she ran 10.6 a whole bunch of times, and then capped it off with 10.61. Right, like That's why there's levels. Like but I do think Sha'Carri has that talent. But I actually think, to your point of world champs not being recognized and like it's not appreciated and all that, I think Melissa realizes that she realizes that, and like she has to work her way towards the Olympics, that will come in 2 years. So she has to like build herself up, make sure she's consistently winning, and she has to, yeah, and she realizes that like winning races is almost like, in theory, the only thing that she can do. In the sense that, like I said, Sha'Carri doesn't have to win races to have the general public say, "Oh, she's the best." Like, she doesn't have to, right? Melissa, if she doesn't win, if she falls down in the pack, people are just gonna say, "Oh, okay, we'll get to 2028 and be like, oh, what happened to Melissa?" Right? Like, or maybe even not. And again, this is
I
like
just
the
assume
general
that's where she
public.
belongs.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm.
the general
They'll
public.
assume she belongs
Exactly.
there.
Exactly. That's actually why I feel like Melissa wants it more, because she realizes the landscape of things, both on the public side where they're barely even recognizing her, and on the in the track community who's saying, "Oh, these people weren't healthy. So, you know, part of your win is kind of like doesn't count." That's where I think she realizes and she wants it more. At least that's why. So I'm leaning even more so in like, nah, Melissa is gonna get this.
I honestly think this conversation is not gonna really be settled till World Ultimate. However, again, Sha'Carri don't have that 200-meter in her cards. Not like that.
Yeah, nah,
Again, she
nah.
got a medal in it, and I think that's because her talent was just that 100 was so electric for where it was that there was no
Yeah.
wiggle room to play with. Her 200 followed after that 100, like, very significantly, I think. I mean, Melissa does well in her own right. It's just last year, I think GST did wonders for her, not just for the
Yeah.
confidence, but, like, the structure of it allowed her to kinda get herself going in a way that, you know, run a race over here and run a one over there and, like,
Mhm.
get on a plane and go over here and run a race, like, it's just not it's just not the same structure, and remember that was also domestic competing too, so, like, it just
Yeah.
with a comfort level, like, of, like, kinda I mean, Jamaica less domestic, but still not terribly far.
Yeah.
I mean, so well, hey, we're gonna see how this goes. I mean, I gotta ask it this way. Any names that we really think if both of those women decide to run in the 100, if Melissa at the bare minimum runs in the 200, is there anybody who can make it I'm not gonna say win, anybody who can make it interesting?
In the well,
200 more so.
yeah, 200. I think Melissa is the cream of the crop. Like, I'm not I'm not looking, essentially the way I look at the 200 for Melissa is the way I look at it for Noah, where it's like, because Gabby isn't there, it's like Melissa all the way. But then I do think it gets interesting behind her, where, like I said, you have Kayla White, you have Cambridge Sturgis, you have Sha'Carri Richardson. So that actually is a good kind of like conversation there. Though granted, uh, I Sha'Carri's a little more of a question mark in the 200 because she ran the 200s early. She was running like 22.3, 22.24, but that was like
24
the
years.
first, yeah, right. That was the first race of her season. So I can't even like gauge like what that means for now in July.
She's wherever Kayla White is now. Like, I just looked at the calendar and just
Mm,
considering same coach, I used that as a
yeah,
benchmark for, like, when was she running these 200s, and what were you running at that time? I said, "You're wherever Kayla is now."
that makes sense. That's fair. That's fair. So
So
that's what I think. Yeah.
she's right up there now,
Yeah. So
especially
that's
after a round to get to the final. She just has to not, like, run a bootleg 200 prelim. You
oh
know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
like, she didn't make the USA final last year in the 200, but then again, she wasn't really ready. So
Yeah,
that's,
that's true.
like,
That's
the other
true.
half of the discussion, like, I remember Madison White even beat her, who runs for USC.
Mm,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
USC,
yeah.
like, nothing against her, it's just, like, Sha'Carri running well is not losing to Madison White,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that version of her just wasn't ready. So, again, like I said, she got
No.
the different cards.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
mean,
different.
yeah, 'cause
The
yeah.
No, I was gonna say the only thing just related to Melissa and Sha'Carri, I wonder if you think for Sha'Carri, because as we're even talking about the 200 and like, okay, who's the better athlete? Like Sha'Carri in 2023, she got the gold in the 100, ran 10.6. She got the bronze in the 200. That was the year, Sharika went crazy and even Gabby ran like 21.8. Like she wasn't gonna beat them, but she did run 21.9. When you compare to Melissa, she also did a double last year at the World Champs. She did 10.61. She did 21.6. So on paper, Melissa, by every metric, and Melissa ran faster in other 200 races, like she's run 21.8. So by every metric, Melissa is a better athlete based on what we've seen on paper. Do you think that's also what Sha'Carri is thinking about of like, okay, Melissa just essentially took my spot in the sense of like being the best American. And now I'm using that as motivation because like I don't want to get beaten out. Because like obviously again, Sha'Carri could like do nothing and the public is gonna appreciate her. But like she's a human being, right? She wants to do well and all that. So I wonder if it's like, nah, I have to like work harder because personally feel like I am better than Melissa. So I need to go out there and win. I need to do what I need to
Well,
do.
let's have the full conversation. I'm gonna put 2 things together.
Mm,
2 things that came out of athletes' mouths. One is Sha'Carri and one is Sharika. Sha'Carri
mm,
said on camera, this is after the LA Grand Prix, they asked her
yeah,
about LA 2028 because all the interviews keep going that direction.
I know.
Because nobody cares about the world I wanna see where we just let the pros be pros and compete and the races have value. And she's like, "We're always thinking about LA 2028. Like, when we're training, we're thinking about it." Her words. Then you take what Sharika said, and she was talking, this is back, sprint. And,
Oh yeah,
this is before 2024 happens
yeah,
and the injuries happen. And she's like, "Hey, what if I never win an Olympic gold medal?" Like, the anxiety almost, that's the word I'm applying to it, or, that kinda comes from, like, that sense of, like, death when it matters. She
yeah.
kinda knows that. She
Hmm.
already knows that. So, no, I don't believe that it's gonna translate the same way because she's figured out. No, Melissa knows it, but she knows it in a different way than
Mm,
Sha'Carri being like, there's only one thing left for Sha'Carri Richardson to do in her career.
mm,
Win an Olympic gold in the 100. That's it. Everything else is just stuff. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden could make that same argument, but if she won a silver medal, she'd technically be doing something new. You see what I'm saying?
mm,
Like, just even I know, like, you could say it, but it's not exactly the same where, like, because Sha'Carri also because she don't have that 200 in the bag like that, like, do you think she's winning the Olympic gold in 200 in 2028? Because I don't.
no. No.
You see how
Especially no.
you couldn't even keep a straight face?
No. And this is of course, she's talented, but, like, we gotta be realistic. Just based on what we know now, it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my point is, you see what I mean by, like, there's one race that Sha'Carri Richardson actually has to run, and
Mm,
it won't happen for another 2 years. Everything else between now and then is just stuff. Because it's like Melissa is blessed in the way to actually have another race, one, where it's not the 100, but you can still get a medal over there. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, also, like, did like, she has, like, in other words, it's a different level of pressure, so that's why I'm like, this USA is like, yeah, I mean, I'm calling Sha'Carri on it because of I thought she won Prefontaine, like, I was in the group that thought she had it,
Mm.
and then they say Melissa got it, and I'm like, "Show me the replay." And then I'm like, "Alright, I guess she got it." You know what I mean? But, like, I was in that side because I was like, "Oh, shit." I was look, the camera was about to be turned on. I was like, "Oh, she back." Like, it's like, she's almost back. And it's like, the conversation's a little different. But it's like, the truth is we have 2 world beaters. So yeah, I mean, that's my final on all of it. Sha'Carri Richardson and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden both, they we're gonna have to wait. And
Yeah.
USA's will take the preview
Yeah.
bits. At the USA
But
Championships, when it comes down to the winner's circle, we're gonna have to figure out who's gonna pull it out for the 400 on the men's side. And there's no Quincy Wilson sighting. He's gonna be getting ready for World U20s, which is, as far
mhm.
as I know, is gonna be up in Eugene not too long from now. But
Mhm.
as for the USA Championship itself, it's the adults, all the adults in the room. Let's see who's gonna do it. I guess you could call it like this generation's version of the usual suspects, minus Ja'Cory Patterson, who
Yeah. Yep.
certainly has now put himself into that discussion. So, I mean, where do you see this going? Considering I don't see a clear favorite.
Yeah, I think there's not a clear favorite. Like you, obviously, yes, Rai Benjamin, coming over from the hurdles to focus this year on the 400. He's been having a good. Well, he ran really well at Prefontaine, and then also at Monaco. We're recording this before London. He's going to run there, but like I think Rai Benjamin, you look at Chris Bailey. Chris Bailey has actually been having a very good season. Um, and he made the Olympic final in 2024. He was a world indoor champion in 2025. So Chris Bailey, I think, is someone to kind of look at there. Same thing with like Caleb McRae. He's going to be in the field. He made the world championship team last year. He ran sub 44 seconds. He's been having a relatively consistent year. Those are the kind of guys. Shout out to Vernon Norwood, who's been a mainstay. He's always been in the mix even throughout this year. Um, those are the core guys that I'm looking at. Shout out to like Justin Robinson and Demarius Smith and certain guys who've been shout out to Bryce Deadman. He's a former U.S. champion from 2023. But even Quincy Hall is in the field, but he's been coming back from injury, even though he's the Olympic champion. The 400 is a little mixed, but I would say Rai Benjamin, Chris Bailey, those are like the two top guys as it stands now. And then you look at like Caleb McRae and some of the other guys. That's who I'm like kind of parsing out.
That's real because right now the 400 for Team USA, Quincy Hall pulling out that Olympic gold medal was emblematic of a shift. And the shift to me, because it's less about him and more about what Team USA's 400 crew is now. The crew is
Mm,
essentially what I call the dogs. Like, they're not the Avengers, but these are the watchdogs. Like, they're just gonna
mm,
go out there and grind. Maybe not Michael Norman talent or Fred Curley talent. Is that fair? Like, because the reason they're so fast in the 400 is because they have talent across 1 and 2 that almost nobody has.
mm,
That's what I mean. Like, Quincy Hall doesn't have that.
yeah,
Remember, go back to 2023, he's like, "Hey, I got that diesel engine." No. I mean, he's been dealing with injuries himself. Michael Norman's not in this field. I mean, like,
yeah,
as far as I didn't really expect them to be in the grander scheme, but
yeah,
feels like you got I would say you gotta give it to the dogs. Chris Bailey and Caleb McRae were kind of the leader of that group. Demarius Smith has joined them, I'd say, especially since he went a little faster this year,
yeah.
to
He's
some degree.
mix. Uh, I'd put him like much farther behind. I'd love to see him more consistent. Um, he has talent, but Demarius Smith, I wouldn't put him in the conversation of like Caleb McRae or Chris Bailey yet.
Yeah,
Could
like, I
though
mean,
one
I'm
day.
saying he's joining them on the clock because I mean, he got a 44.4 now. And see, okay, Chris Bailey and Demarius Smith both came up the rough side of the mountain. I mean, Chris Bailey was a transfer from a small HBCU, I think
Yeah.
Mississippi Valley State or whatever, and then eventually ends up in the SEC. Demarius Smith, he wasn't really a 400 runner until pretty recently and has now
Yeah.
pushed his way down. I mean, of course, he was over at, the World Championships, ran the relay, and, there was some questions on whether he should have been there. And of course, they did the rerun, and, the rest is history. They got the silver medal, and it
Yeah.
was all done because, Botswana went nuts and has continued to stay in the front. But I'm saying, like,
Mhm.
because when I'm looking at this group, I'm not even really thinking about the champions right now. Like, who's gonna win the 400? Like, I'm just saying the quiet part out loud. I'm thinking, like, what is our 4x4 looking like?
Well,
That's
I
where my
mean,
mind goes. Like, this is giving me a preview of what we got what we're working with. Because Fred Curley ain't coming out the vault.
nah.
And you can keep waiting on Michael Norman. He might be ready. But, I
Well, I
would
mean,
I
you
wouldn't
got
I'm not gonna be just hoping that he's gonna anchor us home. I'm gonna say, like, what this is what we're working with to me. I mean,
I mean,
Quincy notwithstanding. I
I
mean,
mean,
Corey
you
Patterson.
got you got you actually have all 4 guys competing here who were on the 4x4 that won gold at the Olympics in the
Yeah,
second fastest time all time, like Vernon Norwood, Ry Benjamin, Bryce Stedman, and Chris Bailey. So it's like the quality is there, and then you add in from last year, you have Caleb
Botswana's not,
McRae.
but they've continued to.
Well, yeah, they've continued to progress. And I say this all in the context that like we don't even there's not even a 4x4 this year. Like World Ultimate Champs doesn't even have a 4x4. They have the mixed 4x4. So it's a whole different thing. But I'm like to your point, it's like the 400 in general is still relatively mixed of a bag. But when we look at USA's here, I think Ry Benjamin, Chris Bailey, and Caleb McRae, those are the 3 that I would say they are like maybe a step above everyone else, and then there's different little discussions behind them and, TBD how they kinda play out.
On talent, Rod Benjamin's supposed to win.
On pure talent, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, in
like,
theory,
I mean, Chris
yeah.
Bailey, I think he's just gonna come in and execute and be like, "I dare you to come get me." But on talent, Rod Benjamin is supposed to win. I mean, when you look down this list, I mean, there's some names I recognize here. I mean, whether it's, Johnny Blockberger, who's running at USC. I mean, Elijah Godwin, former NCAA champion. I mean, they were gonna have a Matthew Bowling sighting, apparently, from what I can tell. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's entered there. Matthew Bowling is in there,
he was in the
Randolph
Olympic trials
Ross.
final.
Yeah, the Olympic
Yeah,
trials
like, I mean,
final.
like, it's not like, I mean, he ran Grand Slam track last year. I mean,
Yeah, he has a couple
he
relay medals from 2023, so, there's guys in here. I mean, there's actually, yeah, like, a lot between Elijah Godwin, Randolph Ross, Noah Williams, like, you have a lot of former NCAA champions. Now, granted, at least all due respect, like those guys are not in the form that brought them to those NCAA titles, whether it's indoors or out. But you know, it's a interesting fields, I'd say. But yeah, I'll have my eyes on Ry Benjamin, Chris Bailey, Caleb McRae, and then the rest of the guys. Shout out to someone like Vernon Norwood, who I think punches above his weight. But you know,
yeah.
we'll see. But I guess I do wonder that leads maybe we could shift over to the 110 hurdles where so this one is interesting because we're missing Jacoby Tharp. He just broke the world record in the 110 hurdles at NCAA's, with that 12.75. He's been very consistent. He was second place at Prefontaine. He recently won the Monaco Diamond League, but he's not going to be here. He's not going to be here. He's on a different mission, I guess, looking towards World Ultimate Champs. I actually applaud him because it's like, take the break after a long NCAA season. But we do have Jamal Britt, who I personally think is the favorite in the field by a long shot, where it's like he's he's actually run like I don't even know, like maybe 50 races this year, but he's been actually very, very consistent throughout the year. He's run 12.86, one of the fastest all time, I think number 5 all time. So and even in the race in Monaco, he finished second to Jacoby Tharp, So it's like Jamal Britt is like the guy in this field right now. But shout out to Cordell Tinch, of course, world champion from last year. And he's actually been getting better leading into USA's. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. 110 hurdles for the men, it's an interesting field, but I'm looking at Jamal Britt as like the guy in this field.
Well, I mean, let's go there. Jamal Britt, I've been watching his career for a while. And
Mhm.
the question mark was never, "Is he fast?" He's actually got more foot speed than most of the guys in the hurdles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and GST showed us that. I mean, for the record, Trey Cunningham doesn't seem to be running in
No,
the
Trey
heat as
Cunningham is
well.
not entered. Yeah, he's
And
not running.
Grant Holloway, we haven't seen him all year. Yeah,
Yeah, he's injured.
he took the year entirely off as a result. Yeah, so
Yeah.
from what I could tell. So Jamal Britt, what I'm trying to say is him as the front runner is gonna be interesting to see how he handles that because his whole career has been chasing. Like,
Mhm.
from the time that he showed up in any capacity, and running in the front versus running as the chaser is different. There's a different mindset that comes with that. See, Jacoby Tharp is still as young enough where he don't care because as far as he
Mhm.
knows, he's always been winning. Anytime he lost, it was an aberration, and then he just went back to winning again, and now he's expecting to just beat everybody because he's like, "Oh, I've gone
Yeah.
faster than any of y'all have ever gone." So Like like I'm saying there's a psychological component they'll have to cross over. Cordell Tinch, on the other hand, I mean, last year he was on a tear early, then got back into that space later on. I've kind of been waiting for him to figure it out, and it feels like with the rounds that if he was going to do so, it would be now, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
that's kind
yeah.
of where I'm at because as great as Jamal Britt is, I'm not entirely sure that because I've never seen him run in the front like that. Remember, winning Prefontaine was like, announcing himself to the world, if you will. It wasn't like, "Oh, this is a foregone conclusion." It was again, I've seen Jamal Britt be fast in different pockets. That was not the question. It was, can he string these races together? That was the discussion, and this has been the longest stretch with the highest amount of quality that we've ever seen strung together. Again, him being unattached is more of just a blemish on track. Let me say it a different way. If he were a sprinter doing the same things he's doing on the hurdles over the last few years, he would have had a contract. Like if he were 100, 200,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
I
by
believe
far.
that that was enough to get a contract. It's just he was in the wrong event in the context of
Mm.
what we think this sport is.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
the hurdlers are just not as visible. I mean, if Kendrick Smallwood runs, he'll make it interesting. I'm not picking any of
Yeah.
these college kids to win it. I mean, stranger things have happened. I'm just not doing it because at that point, you're telling me that we're going to get a winner who's going to be, you know, not able to break 13, which could happen. I'm just not believing it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
for
don't even see Dylan
from
Beard here.
oh, yeah, I'm not sure Dylan is, yeah, I'm not sure Dylan is running. That's a good point. I
Because
think
he did run a race
he
not
did
long ago,
recently.
but
Yeah, he did
it wasn't
recently.
his best. He ran Prefontaine,
Oh, yeah, that's true. He was in Prefontaine. That's a good point. Yeah, 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 yeah.
but he wasn't. Because he didn't run much this season, like outdoors.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of been up in the air. I mean, Freddie Crittenden, I believe, is going to run, but we don't know
Yeah,
what
he's
that's
been he's
going to
been
be.
dealing with injuries throughout the year, and
And he said this is his last year.
yeah, this is gonna be his final year. He's retiring. So yeah, it's kind of a retirement tour for him. Um, so yeah, it's well, I honestly think behind Jamal, that's where like the interesting discussion. Jamal and Cordell Tinch. That's where it gets interesting. Because even someone like Kendrick Smallwood, like after NCAAs, he ran in at the Paris Diamond League and he didn't do well. He did there was like heats and finals. He did well in the heats, but he didn't do well in the final. So like and he pulled out of Prefontaine. He was supposed to be there. So I'm unsure. Jamal Britt has been insanely consistent and like I don't see a reason why I mean, sure, he could lose to Cordell Tinch for sure, but like I don't see a reason why like, you know, unless he hits a hurdle. Anything can happen in the hurdles, but Jamal Britt is the guy. Cordell Tinch has been trending in the right direction. His last race in Monaco was actually very, very good. So, we could see, and also context, they are going to be racing in London and we're recording this before the London Diamond League. So more can happen there, but like, I think that Jamal Britt is the guy and Cordell Tinch is the next one. And then I, it could be a flip of the coin with all the other guys behind them, for
Yeah.
me at least.
If experience means anything, and talent, of course, is the other half of that equation. Those two, when the dust settles, it's going to be one of those two. I mean, it's the hurdle, as you said, anything can happen.
Yeah.
It'll be one of those two, and then I think we're just going to get a bunch of college kids showing up in a final.
Yeah,
I
probably
mean,
it'll be yeah, it'll be
that's what
mixed.
I'm looking at the list. I wouldn't be shocked if I see a bunch of NCAA uniforms in that final.
Yeah, there'll definitely be a
At least
couple of
3 or
them.
4.
Oh yeah, by far, definitely, and like, yeah, you'll get your Malachi Snows, and like you'll get the different guys who are running. Yeah, like you'll see them. But shout out to someone like I don't know, Eric Edwards is in here. Like there's some guys, but like yeah, it's not a highly. It's Jamal Britt, Cordell Tinch, and then to me the rest of the field is like vying for like the next 6 spots in a sense.
Yeah,
So
so but hey, that brings us to the 400
the
hurdles on we switching through, and
yeah.
again, Rob Benjamin's not running this. Even, some of the other names that you might look for, I don't think I see Trevor Bassett.
Yep, that's so being honest, this event is definitely, watered down with no Ry Benjamin, Trevor Bassett, who has been the best American in 2026. He's not running here. So you got Caleb Dean, Chris Robinson. Those are your guys who
And
are
Creighton
like,
and CJ Allen.
and CJ Allen. True. Yeah, CJ Allen. Those are your 3 guys who it's like, okay,
And
these are guys who have made teams. These are guys who have run 47 in the past. But like, I gotta be honest, like this field is definitely watered down from like what we would expect in any given year.
because there's a pretty wide spread when it comes to the 400 hurdles. And again, for the people in the back, to clarify what we mean, Caleb Dean ran 47.4. Chris Robinson ran 47.7. CJ Allen 48 flat.
Yeah, this is over the
Like
past
this
year
season, yeah.
to qualify. Yeah,
Nobody else is under 48.68, so essentially 48.7.
yeah,
So the feeling is like when the dust settles, it's those 3. And again, also experience, like CJ Allen on experience, making
exactly.
teams and so on. It's like, I mean, we could go through other names. I think that the high school kid Andrew Jones in here, like, shout out to him. I guess maybe doing this and World U20s. I didn't go check the results.
Mm,
You're going to see how it all. I can't remember off head right now how it's all going to shake out. There's
yeah.
not even that many entries. I mean, you're less than 20 entries that are, potentially going to run. And even then, the 20 is not even 20. It's pretty safely, what, 18, I think?
No, you're looking at
18 or 6.
16 because
Yeah,
two athletes already scratched
yeah.
out of a
So,
total 18. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, like, it's going to be prelims to finals. And, like, it could be a situation when, like, more than half of the people in the first round go to the final. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
USAs can get kind of wonky in these events. High school kids, if you're listening, if you want an event, and you consider yourself a sprinter, the 400 hurdles is the most wide open because a lot of people don't want to do it. So if your goal is to try to score points, that's the place you should look. But over here, I think on talent, it's those 3. And I'm going to I'm calling Chris Robinson. That's who I'm calling just for the purposes of
Mm,
argument. And that's just because I feel like his tenacity and kind of what I've seen, like the consistency of like his efforts through races. Because, Caleb Dean, I feel like it'd be hot and cold. Uh,
yeah.
And
It
and
could
I'm not
be.
talking about, like, speed, I'm talking about, like, like, maybe, like, hit a hurdle here because he's not a traditional 400 hurdler. He was fast enough to make it to the finals of the NCAA 60-meter dash without hurdles. You see what I'm saying?
Mm,
So, like, him being in the 400 hurdles, he's kinda like an athlete who's cheat coding his way through track because he's just way faster than y'all and then hurdling. Again, like, he did 60 hurdles as well, 110 hurdles, but now he's in the 400 hurdles. I'm saying like that speed is carrying him really hard. But that's why, so when I say consistency, it's not so much about like, is he trying? It's just like, I'm aware that his hurdling through the 400 hurdles
mhm.
may not always be as, like, I see him clip a hurdle here, clip a hurdle there. Whereas like Chris
Yeah.
Robinson, like, this is his event. It feels to me like this is more like, this is your event. Like you run the 4, but like, this is your event.
Yeah. I mean, I can hear that for sure. I'll say Caleb in 2026 is actually probably having the best year of his career. He hasn't set his personal best, but like he's actually been very consistent. He's run 47 3 times. I think three or four times this year. He just he finished third place at the Hungary Continental Tour, but like he almost, I think he ran like his second fastest time ever. Like he's been pretty consistent this year, whereas Chris Robinson hasn't actually been running as fast this year relative to previous years. So like, granted, anything can happen. Like both of them have made teams. Like both of them are insanely talented. They train together. Like they literally train together in down in Florida. So both of them are insanely talented. But I'm if I'm picking someone, I'm looking at Caleb Dean just based on what I've seen in 2026 so far. Um, but Chris is actually very talented. Like Chris on paper is actually faster than Caleb Dean when talking about the flat 400. Like Chris Robinson has almost run 43 seconds in the open four. He's run like 44-1 or something like that. So Chris has a talent, but just based on what I've seen this year, Caleb Dean for me is like the guy to beat once you eliminate Trevor Bassett and Rye Benjamin. Um, but to your point, like overall, like there's been some inconsistencies, but like I don't know. This year, Caleb Dean has been looking pretty good, but anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's a
Um,
toss up. Make no mistake, we don't really know how this event is going to shake out, aside
yeah,
from feeling like there's the top three. And again, we didn't
yeah,
mention PJ Allen like that. I'm just going with him. I haven't looked at his season. I just
yeah,
historically, he just always be there. Like when there's a Team USA to make, which this is not exactly that, but like
yeah, yeah,
when it's a USA championship, he just finds his way.
yeah,
It,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and this is one of those events that, uh, for the people in the back, there's a lot of college kids who will show up to this meet, but then the lack of infrastructure after the fact makes it really hard to
Mm,
survive as a 400 hurdler. You know what I mean? Like training wise and opportunities, because again, the event is just not as visible. That's why
yeah,
like Rye Benjamin is kind of like sat alone for a while as like a like higher profile sponsored 400 hurdler. But that's also because he was winning on the world stage, not just fastest in America, but like all the way up there with your,
globally.
you
Hmm.
know, the big three. So
Carson and Allison Dos Santos. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All of them.
rock it
Yeah.
over to
So
the women 400. I mean,
yeah, I actually don't think it's very wide open. I think for the women's 400, Aaliyah Butler is like she is actually way, way ahead of everyone this year. It's actually not even. I'm gonna be honest. It's not even close. Aaliyah Butler has like it's not. She just ran. Aaliyah Butler just ran 48.8 at the I think it was a Monaco Diamond League. Yeah, the Monaco Diamond League. I'm pretty sure. And earlier in the year, she's run 49. Like I think one of her first races was like 49 seconds. I think she ran 50 flat in her first race. Her next race in the Diamond League was like 49. Like Aaliyah Butler is she's the absolute class of this field. And it actually makes sense because so Cindy McLaughlin-Roney, obviously she's out. She actually just gave birth to her first child, I think
oh,
recently. Uh
congratulations to her
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah. She just
family, her and her husband.
announced it. Yeah, exactly, which is a big, big deal. So yeah, super happy for her. So obviously she's out for this year. And then behind Sydney last year in the American sense, it was Aaliyah Butler and Isabella Whitaker. Those were the two athletes behind Sydney.
Isabella Whitaker didn't run this year, right?
She didn't run. I think she's been injured. So yeah, she's been out. So then you add in, so that's why it's like Aaliyah Butler, she's not only maintained, but she's gotten better. Like she literally, I think she's now the fourth fastest American of all time, just based on what she just said. So I just don't see there's there's no one in this field that's going to like really challenge Aaliyah Butler just based on what we see. Like,
I
yeah.
mean, well, let me say this. I knew Aaliyah Butler was having success this season, but when I clicked over to who's actually on the line, because remember when I first entered the segment, I'm thinking, okay, there's no Sydney.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like the days of Sonya Richards Ross and all them, like we're not living in that world. And then
Yeah.
started to get real with the fact, and also remember these college girls be confusing me sometimes, like the Dejanay Oakleys and all of them, because they like what you see from them. So then when I checked and I realized you are correct that Aaliyah Butler has a full second on the next entry, and at that point, one person cracked under 50 who's listed as an entry. I mean, Scenario Butler, that is is that any relation?
Scenario, I think Scenario Butler.
Yeah,
Um,
no relation, right?
she No, no, no. They're not related. Yeah, I think just I think just Butler happens to be her last name.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because Okay, yeah, 'cause I see her, she runs for Arkansas, which is not all that
Yeah.
shocking. So the whole point is, like, you're right, it does start to feel like, okay, maybe it is Aaliyah Butler trying to claim her first USA title and then everybody else doing it, but see, let's start there. See, this is where my mind went. Let's just let's just grant this. Let's say Aaliyah Butler's gonna win this title.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at this list, let's talk about other names. Talitha Diggs, I remember her winning a USA championship.
Yeah, in
She's here.
2022.
I mean, I remember Britton Wilson when we thought she was next up, and
Yep,
her
same
name is still listed
2022,
here.
2023. Yep. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like, people be hot for a minute, and then things happen. Injuries happen, and the sport just kinda again,
Mhm.
infrastructure, all these different things where could we be seeing you race from time to time, Ed Murphy, whatever, but it don't be it's not what we, I guess, expected if you were saying, like, looking at that girl in college or looking at that woman who's really, you know, seemingly running through it. So Aaliyah Butler right now, the question is, like, is she a real one? Like, is she not just fast now, but, like, is she really that next and she might be because she was at the games, came back to college, took care of business,
Mhm.
and then because
It's
Isabella Whitaker was kinda running off of that college strength, like, that's what we were
Mhm.
witnessing last year. Like, she ran an indoor season and it just kept on going.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's like
Yeah, I mean,
a different flavor.
yeah, it's a little different. And I think for Aaliyah, I think for me, what even validates it more, especially when we're thinking of the American context, is the fact that she's been beating out all these athletes around the world, or at least being competitive with them, right? So now when she comes back to the United States, it's like, and also for context, the second best American this year is Madison White, who was second place at NCAA's, but she's not running here.
Yeah.
Like she's not here. So it's like, and again, shout out to Sonara Butler, but like I think her 49 was like earlier in the year. It was like right off of the indoor season. She went to NCAA. She was like fifth or sixth or something. It's not like she was showing consistency. So, like you said, Talitha Diggs, Britton Wilson, obviously both, well, Talitha, former USA champion, Britain was second place to Sydney in 2023 at USA's, but like both of them have had injuries and this year haven't looked like those athletes. So, you know, but I will say after Aaliyah Butler, I think someone to look out for is Alexis Holmes. Alexis Holmes has actually been making some steady progress this year. She actually, she made the Olympic team in 2024. She was the only American in the Olympic final in Paris. She ran the anchor leg for that American record, 4x4 team. She dealt with injuries last year, but like now she's been making her way slowly back. So I look at someone like Alexis Holmes as maybe the next person to keep a lookout for here. But yeah, it's Aaliyah Butler and then the rest of the fields. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking
Well,
at.
because it's a quote unquote off year, whatever that's supposed to mean, if I have to give a shout out, it's gonna be to Bailey Lear.
Oh
Because
yeah, shout out to Bailey Lear.
I feel like if there was ever was a shot for her to go top 3, this is it. I mean, this is
Yeah,
good a chance as any. When you clear Sydney out and, 'cause again, you just mentioned Britton Wilson getting second and but to who?
yeah, exactly.
Like,
Literally
that
to Sydney.
second is first under many other designations.
Yep,
It's just
yep.
not. Because now that Sydney has done her thing, it's kinda like and I know this is not what the segment is. I mean, you see what Femke Bol is doing in the 8,
Yeah, exactly.
where it's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, she knew stuff we didn't know," which just
exactly.
further confirms the otherworldliness of Sydney. Because like, if she was really this level of talent and couldn't win against Sydney, it just further
Mhm.
confirms, like, what the American women were up against, where it's like, there's just 2 spots available in this event,
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
3. Because 1 is
It's
just
cr
kinda like, like, etched to somebody all before we go. Now, the 100 hurdles for the women,
yeah.
as far as I understand it, Messiah Russell's not running.
Masai is not running at
So now that thing
USA's.
gets wide open, and I think that's safe to say.
It definitely the win is definitely way more open because if Masai was running, like, we slot her right in. Like, she's you just slot her in for the win. But it does get more interesting now because you have a whole bunch of women who have run fast in different capacities, between obviously shout out to Kenny Harrison, former world record holder, multiple time medalist at the Olympics and the Worlds. Aaliyah Johnson has been running, she's actually been trending in the right direction this year. She, of course, made the Olympic final in 2024. Grace Stark is also entered here. I would say Grace Stark is probably I would put her as like my pick to win this.
Yeah.
She's had the best year so far, and she had injury early on, but she has a best year, and she's coming off a medal last year. Like just last year, she got the bronze medal at the World Champ. So, I think she's my pick. And shout out to Renaya Jones, who's been having a good season, at kind of a breakout year. So, but yeah, Aaliyah Armstrong is in here, so it's an interesting field, but without Masai, it gets very, very wide open.
Well, before we go any further, because Kenny Harrison, Aaliyah Johnson, Grace Stark, they're the usual suspects. The women who, when you threw everybody out there, they kept figuring out ways to get ahead. Like over
Hmm.
the last half decade.
Yeah.
Like they've all been here. However, when it comes to the name that stands out the most to me, just for the purposes of how fun it is to see, you see Tara
Hmm.
Davis-Woodhall,
Oh yeah.
12:47,
Oh yeah.
which means she realistically should be in that final. Now, again, I know this is a shameless Sydney plug. Considering we saw which Sydney did a Grand Slam track and people kind of looking at clocks and so on and so forth, I refuse to believe that Tara Davis-Woodhall can go 12:47 and Sydney can't find her way at least that fast or faster if she just said, "Okay, let's run the 100 hurdles." Again, I mean, I know she's coming off pregnancy. Don't expect her to run that event seriously in anytime soon. I mean, like LA 2028, I don't see any of that. But I mean, it's also a testament to her as a world beater that she can come over to a different event. She was a multi prior, but like letting us know she really is. Like, just don't be fooled. Like I've been jumping, but I can handle this. So I think it's actually I wonder how much, and I know it's a little different, how much entertainment value or kind of extra like star power comes with having Tara Davis Woodhall in the race
Mm.
alongside the other women. Because like, yeah, no Masai, but like you still have another gold medalist coming into the space and further putting a spotlight on all the other women who are amazingly talented. Remember, Kenny Harrison breaks a world record at a time when a year when she like right after she failed to make Team USA for 2016.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, like, she got world championship medals, things like that from the time went on. But, like, that's just the game we've been playing. So, I mean, if you had to make one pick, you said Grace Stark. I actually would have been drawn to that name anyway.
Yeah.
That said, if we're gonna, pick somewhere else for the purposes of argument, I'm gonna say Kenny Harrison might have, I guess I don't even know if we would call it a resurgence, but another moment.
Mm. Yeah. May maybe could, but like I personally, I would pick a few other people ahead of her, just based on like what I've seen this year. She could, but like I would pick Aaliyah Johnson before Kenny. Aaliyah has been doing very well. Even like Aaliyah Armstrong. I think Aaliyah Armstrong this year, she's run 12:5. So like I think Kenny is in that conversation, but like just based on what I've seen this year in terms of consistency, I think Grace and Aaliyah Johnson are probably like the two women. And actually even Renaya Jones, she's actually been having an amazing year. But yeah.
I will say this because I'm seeing the declarations. I thought she had run 12:3 this season. She did not. They
No.
just had that
Yeah.
number up from, I guess, last season. Is that it?
Yeah, because you can use your times from the past full year or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. So so
Yeah.
that
So it's not this
actually
year.
kinda takes a little bit of wind out of the sails on that pick. So, if I can have a do-over, then I'm just going you with Grace Stark. I was just trying to be the contrarian. I ain't
No.
gonna lie to you. 'Cause she was my pick. Like, I've been on the Grace Stark bandwagon for a while. Don't be fooled that I don't do a lot of Hurdles content. Like, anytime I see somebody who's able to make an NCAA final in the Open 60 and then still go out there and do hurdles, like, you win me over. Again, that's why when Caleb Dean is going to the 400 hurdles, I'm like, "Wait a minute." You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
No.
Like, seemed to me like the short hurdles was where with that since you had the foot speed to get you through. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that said, I mean, it brings us now to the 400 hurdles on the women's side.
On the women's side. So this one is actually pretty interesting. I'll say it's similar. Well, actually, no. I say this event actually is very high quality, all things considered. It's actually as high quality as you're gonna get. It's actually just as good um as it's ever been without Sydney, essentially. Like it's just as good as last year. So you have Anna Cockrell, who was a US champion last year. And, she's made back-to-back Olympic teams, got the Olympic silver in 2024. She's in here. Um, Dalilah Muhammad is in here as well. She was second to Anna Cockrell last year, if I remember. She made the yeah, she was second because Jasmine Jones was third. So uh you have the top three from USA's last year. Obviously, Dalilah Muhammad is, in my opinion, the second greatest 400 hurdler behind Sydney all time, like in history. Um, then you have, again, Anna Cockrell. Jasmine Jones just ran 52 seconds out in Hungary, so she's in some good form. Shamir Little, though she's been a little up and down, but she's entered here. She actually scratched the 400 to only focus here on the 400 hurdles. So, and she's a former USA champion from 2023, and 2015 as well. So, all that to say, like, this actually is a very high quality field. Now, the 400 hurdles doesn't get a lot of attention. Um, and once you eliminate Sydney, it's like, it's definitely not even going to get as much attention, definitely for sure. But this is a good field, in my opinion. This is actually a very good field. But yeah, with all that said, though, Anna Cockrell is by she's the favorite in this race. Jasmine Jones has a very good shot. Now, Jasmine Jones just got a silver medal at the World Champs last year, and she just ran 52 seconds. But Anna Cockrell has been a lot more consistent throughout 2026 so far when it comes to four hurdles. So that's why I'm looking at as like the favorite.
That makes sense. I mean, when I looked at the names, I just went with the usual suspects and then looked to see if there was anything in the clocks that told me otherwise, and I didn't see it because there's a spread. I mean, like, you got all the way down to, touching 56-0 and then
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
running
Yeah.
your way
Yeah.
into the 52s, and then remember, Sydney goes and breaks the stratosphere
Yeah.
because she takes us where? You know what I mean? Like, hops
Yeah.
all the way through the 51s, skipping on down. That's why I said, like, we really finna have to get ready to watching people run 52 and call it fast again. Like, at some point,
Yeah.
that day is coming where because you got people running 55s like they doing something, and again, she goes skipping on down.
I know. I know.
So, I
It's
mean, it's a very wild, situation, if you're asking me. But, if for my pick, I would because of what happened last season, I would just default to Jasmine Jones.
yeah. I'm mad at that. That makes
Like, I
sense.
mean, but I mean, what Imma ask it a different way though. Did there any reason to take Dalilah Muhammad? Not just
Not
past
this.
career, but I mean, like, this season.
Not this season. Like not this season. The problem is she's always been racing against like Anna Cockrell and others. She's actually raced because I mean they train together, so they'll travel to meets together and stuff. She's never beaten Anna Cockrell this year. Now, all things considered, considering she's I mean she's a veteran, she's 36 years old. She actually ran her fastest season's opener this year, but like there's no reason to say, okay, Dalilah Muhammad is going to win USA's, even though she can. Like, she absolutely can. But there's nothing to say this year that she's trending towards beating Anna Cockrell or Jasmine Jones. But anything can happen for sure. Anything can
Yeah,
happen.
well, I mean, I'm not gonna fight it. I mean, if it's I mean, because when I think about the 400 hurdles, like like I said, the usual suspects where this this event, again, for the people in the back, less than 16 entries at a USA Outdoor Championship meet.
Yeah, yeah,
Less than 16. So, we don't even know I mean, that's 8 people in the lanes for, 2 semifinals. It might get to less than that. You might be looking at 6 at some point.
yeah,
Like, it could be
yeah,
6, 7 people on the way to qualifying for the final, where, again,
yeah,
more than half of the people who ran are gonna get to run again.
yeah.
So,
It's
if that's what we're doing and again, there's levels. where there's that tier, the ones who gone out there and done stuff on the world stage, of which all the names we gave are those women, and they're not named Sydney.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let that sink in for the people in the back. And then you have everybody else. Shamir Little, of course, has, an amazing amount of talent. The question is, with this group at this time, will she be there? That remains to be seen. But
Mhm.
I expect to be in the final again. For what it is. The
Yeah,
jumps
yeah,
in
yeah.
general.
And like a larger discussion because, obviously, you a shout out to, women's long jump, men's long jump, the triple jumps, all the jumps across the board. Now, we did mention Tara Davis-Woodhall, where she's gonna be in the 100-meter hurdles. She's probably gonna be a contender trying to fight her way into, some top spots there. She's, of course, been and this is like because I personally, I love the jumps, but like obviously Tara has been like the name of American jumping over the past couple years in terms of like how the public receives, you know, athletes across the board. Um, she's been like the face of it. Shout out to someone like Monet Nichols. I'm always gonna shout out Monet where she is like Monet is one of the most consistent jumpers in the United States over like in a long time. But when we're looking at like perception wise, Tara has been, like the leader. And like rightly so in the sense that she has the world championship gold, she has the Olympic gold, she's one of the farthest jumpers in history when talking about the long jump, and she's also undefeated in the long jump. I think dating back to actually since 2023, she hasn't lost a long jump competition since she finished second place at the world champs in Budapest. Um, so yeah, I mean, that maybe opens up a general discussion of like what we think about the jumps overall. Maybe I don't know. I can call out like some standout names, but like in general, the perception of the jumps because it just doesn't get as much attention as the sprints. And like I know this firsthand because I put out a video explicitly talking about the jumps, and I went through all, and I love the jumps, and like I know a lot of athletes who are jumping. I love the jumps as a viewer, but like it just doesn't get that traction at all because it's just not as popular. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky kind of like landscape in general.
Well, I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can about this discussion. I wanted to have it, but I also knew that I was gonna have to educate myself, as they say. And it's not because I don't remember, with the high school kids, I can tell you stuff. But that's because I'm ranking kids across the country and comparing this one in the long jump, triple jump, looking at the NCAA scale. But when it comes to like the jumps, USATF, like first off, when it comes to these Diamond League meetings, it's all about the races, and then they shoot over to the field. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I might see Wayne Pinnock or like this is what I remember, but it's just stuff happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
you get to another race. So, but Tara Davis Woodhall did, and this is like we got to be very, very transparent. She didn't just win; she won on the biggest stage. She also is at pretty consistently been able to jump things that other people aren't jumping,
yeah,
and she has a personality. She made herself into a content creator, meaning
yeah.
even if she wasn't as good at track, she still would have pulled that part off anyhow.
Hmm.
Winning the gold medal is almost like a fun fact that accompanies the rest of the brand.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So she's a very like as the face of the jumps in America, I think that fair?
Oh yeah,
Because she got
definitely.
Atlos to take on a field event and act like they got all the field events
That's
when
a
they
good
don't.
point. That's such a good
Like, they
point.
don't have all the field events at all.
That's so true.
They just brought her and
That's
her
so
friends,
true.
for lack of a better term. I love watching Claire Bryant jump.
Mhm.
Jasmine Moore as well. Shout out to University of Florida. I enjoy watching them. And this is all on the women's side. The men's side, we can bring them up as well. But, like, I looked at the triple jump, and I don't see Jasmine Moore.
No,
I don't
she's
see her.
injured. She
Yeah,
shut down her year.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there you go. I wouldn't know. Nobody told me.
No.
Unless I'm going to
That
Instagram and I see a post, I wouldn't know. There's
yeah,
no way
yeah.
for me to know that she's not competing. I'm just looking for the usual suspects, like, okay, Claire Bryant, I remember that. And remember, if I know you, I noticed you somewhere else, not on the pro circuit. And I think that's kind of the most frustrating thing about If you ever wanted to know that track and field was broken at the pro level, just leave the sprinting world and the distance world, like the core events, and then start paying attention. Like, okay, if the state of the 400-meter dash in America right now, if the state of the long jump, the triple jump, the high jump, of course,
Mhm.
the 400 hurdles when Sydney ain't running, do you think, like, and Rye isn't
Mhm.
running? Like, what is the state of these events otherwise compared to what we see in the 1, the 2, the mile, whatever? And then you can get honest and be like, "So what are we doing?" Like, the fact that, like, you can barely get entries for some of these events at this point, and it's basically just college kids. 'Cause I'm pulling up the names, and I'm like, "Okay, so the top triple jump entry is a college girl."
Yeah,
Like, as
it's
far
yeah.
as, like, who's listed,
Yep, 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 yep.
and, like, the declared performances to get them in. So, I think the real question is why has it gotten to this, like, how did we get here? Where, and again, shout out to Tara Davis-Woodhall. She's doing the best she can to try to put the sport on her back. I think it's just kinda like it feels almost like the Noah Lyles experience where he's trying to do something similar for sprinting. It's just that they're so unique and so unlike everybody else that
Mhm.
the ways in which they may try to promote or move it forward are not going to translate for everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think I think Tara hasn't necessarily, like, improved the visibility of the jumps in a way that we would want it to, or I'll say it in a way that I personally would want it to, in the sense that, like, I don't think I think it's on the margins, but it's very hard because the jumps in general just aren't popular, and they aren't, breaking through, and this is, forget the wider community, just in the track and field community, right? Like, it's not even breaking through. Um, so whereas, yeah, Tara is able to, like, be, actually, I was gonna say in theory, but definitely, like, one of the top athletes. I put Tara in, like, terms of visibility, like the Noahs, the Sydneys, the Gabbies, like, she has that because of just the content she does and, like, all that. When you see Tara doing cooking content, right? Sponsored cooking content. That's a whole different demographic, right? Like, that's that's a whole different, space that she's entered into, her and Hunter. So coming back to the jumps, it's tough because I'm not sure where the disconnect goes. And even too, so I'm just gonna use Monet Nichols as an example where, she's, in my opinion, probably the second best long jumper consistently over the past couple years. She Shout out to Claire Bryant. She won the gold medal at the World Indoors in 2025. Monet Nichols got the silver medal behind Tara Davis-Woodhall in 2024. Um, and she's made the Olympic team. She's made, world team. Like, she's done a lot of that. And this year alone, Monet Nichols has competed so frequently. She's I think she's finished no lower than, like, third place in any of her jumping competitions. And she's always jumping, like, very, very high marks. But she is unsponsored right now. She lost her sponsor, I think, after the indoor season or maybe sometime indoors, despite the high quality performances that she's putting down. Similar to, like, we were speaking about in the sprints, where if she was in the 100 meters, if she was doing what she was doing in the 100 meters, she would be a sponsored athlete. She'd be like, you can make an argument that Monet Nichols in the long jump is better than Jordan Anthony in the 100 right now. You can make that argument.
But on the
But
women's side, yeah.
yeah, on the women's side or something like that. But, like, because it's the jumps, like, she's just not gonna get that recognition, that appreciation, and all that. And it's like, I don't know, like, why. I mean, I do know why. I mean, the sport is not set up for, athletes in all these different events that aren't popular to get, funding and appreciation. But, like, it's almost unfair. I mean, I'm a hardcore track fan, but, like, it just seems unfair that, the jumps don't get as much appreciation.
I
But I
mean,
don't know.
we know it's unfair. I mean, I'm looking at the high jump. I'm looking on the men's side. I recognize some names. Elijah Casibo is in, I want to say, Division
Mm,
2, and he's one of the best jumpers that we have who might be pulling up to USA's. See, first off, when you leave the premier event, you start noticing these athletes can show up from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Shelby McEwen was in junior college playing basketball and jumping, and then turned
Yeah.
up at Alabama for a year, and now he's in, made it to the Olympics in the high jump. But I'm saying like these athletes just kind of come from random places on the way to, being in the and again, like I recognize some of the names. Like I remember ranking Scotty Vines on SCA. Javon
Mhm.
Harrison, I remember him being a problem at LSU. And I'm
Oh,
looking
yeah.
look at the men's high jump. Like I'm looking at it. And I see three people with a sponsor listed. I see Adidas, Puma, and Adidas again. Somebody else
Mhm.
and Shelby McEwen says Nike.
With
Other than
Nike,
that,
yeah.
you're looking at college kids essentially.
Yeah. College kids
That's
were unsponsored.
that's more or less what we're doing.
Mhm.
And remember, Javon Harrison wasn't just high jumping
He's
when he
doing
was in
both,
college.
long jump and high jump.
Yeah, so, like, he would like, that's why like, that's when I first noticed him, and that's when I was, like, still kind of taking things more seriously as far as, like, not really digging underneath the machine. So that's why I say, like, it's not the jumper's fault, but it is the system that they're in. Like, if you were ever gonna lead a revolt, these are the people who need to lead it, and they need to lead it under the pretense, "Ain't nothing y'all finna do in this current machine gonna get y'all seen," because there's no stakes behind all of these competitions. But
Mhm.
then in 100, 8 people run at a time. In the
Mm.
jumps, one person goes, another person goes, measure it. What are we looking at? Sometimes it could be a bad jump that looked good. It could be a good jump that looked bad. We don't know till they tell us. You see what I'm saying? Like everybody can see the separation of the 100, like a person in front
Yeah.
versus a person behind, even if you don't have the clock to help you. So I think that's where not having a competitive structure where we get to celebrate track and field athletes again. What would Grant Holloway look like in a professional track and field world where we celebrated his ability to do multiple things, which we don't?
Mhm.
It's also why Tara Davis-Woodhall coming over to the 100 hurdle, people forgot that she could. In high school, she was that woman, like that girl at the time, like on the way. Where I
Yeah.
remember looking at that year where you had Sydney in high school, Tara in high school, like, and you just start looking at, like, a who's who list. I think it was what was it,
Mhm.
2018 was the year that we were looking at?
2018 at NCAAs, yeah.
Yeah. No,
NCAA champs.
was it 2017? I'm not thinking about the high school year.
2017 was the high
High
school
school.
year.
You know, 'cause
Yeah, yeah,
we were
yeah.
on one of these shows, and we were, like, kinda, like, like, offline, I think, with Anson with us?
I think that might have been with Aaron, but yeah, I
Yeah, it might have been
remember.
Aaron Brown, and we were just looking at
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like a hit list of I mean, Grace Stark was showing up on this list,
Yep, yep,
Sha'Carri's on
yep.
the list, Sydney's on the list, Tara's on the and people were showing up multiple times in, like, the top 10 of the nation
Mhm.
in different events, and I was like, "Wow, y'all really were all the way back then, you should have known. These are the world." I mean, hindsight is 2020. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not that we don't
exactly.
have talented athletes, it's just the structure isn't allowing us to appreciate it. I honestly couldn't tell you, like I mean, like, Salif Mane,
Yep.
or, Maine, I don't know if I said
Yes.
it wrong.
Salif Mane, yeah.
Yeah, Salif Mane, like, he goes to, FDU, and then he
Yeah, he
gets the
went he
Olympic final, and as far as I know, he's struggled to get a sponsor ever since.
exactly. Actually, that's a perfect example. Like,
Like,
literally,
makes the Olympic final in the
he
triple
he
jump.
w he was a USA champion, makes the Olympic
Olympic
final,
trials
and
champ, yeah.
yeah, and he actually that's one of the greatest triple jump finals that was actually a crazy triple jump final, but to your point, that's 2 years ago at this point, and he hasn't gotten a sponsor. Like,
I mean,
and actually in that triple jump, there's only one person who has a sponsor, the men's triple jump. You
Russell
know, Russell
Robinson
Robinson. Shout out to
well,
Russell Robinson. He's like really good, but like he's the only person in there who actually has a sponsor, who's
Salif
listed
has
with
I
a
mean, New
sponsor.
York Athletic Club, climbed behind them, at least I guess they're
Eh,
paying some fees for something.
Yeah, but that's like all due respect, like might as well be like Tracksmith situation. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. That's
you
not
know.
like, it's not a sponsor.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not in any discernible way. Again, after that, it's a bunch of college kids after that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like, stay in college as if you're a jumper, stay in college as long as you can. Like, the NCAA just made it a little harder for y'all to stay, but if you did 4 years, they said you get 5. If I were you, find a degree.
Mhm.
Get you a post-baccalaureate, get you a master's in something. and just let you keep on jumping because those points gonna count over there. And over here, it's just
Yeah.
like an invisible competition. Again, I
Yep.
recognize some of these names. You see what I'm saying? Like when I'm looking at like the men's triple, again, 14 entries.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like a large field. People aren't beating down the door to get in.
No. And actually what's crazy, to your point, just speaking of Salif Mane and the idea of like staying in college, he actually I just went to check his Instagram to see like, oh, did he pick up a sponsor or something? No, he doesn't have a sponsor still. But just this May, college season, he was in school. Like he just graduated with his master's degree. So like he stayed in school. Like he did it the right way because he might have. I mean, granted, to be fair, like I also acknowledge he also wanted to probably get his degree and his education and all that. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's an aspect of like triple jump isn't doing me well in terms of like, sponsorship, whatever, whatever. It makes sense to stay in school and just continue to get my education, because who knows, right? Like I'm not, track and field is not paying my bills. So it's tough. It's tricky. It's very, very tricky. But that
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
because I'm looking at like, and then again, I'm not that social media followers should mean something, but the fact that you can be as talented as someone like him, or I mean, even Thea LaFond, who's not American, I mean, trained out of America, based out of
Hmm.
America, like she's an Olympic gold medalist, and even now, like, remember we did the show talking about how this is back when Grand Slam track was, kind of under fire prior to when they started. And,
Hmm.
it was like, oh, I can't say track, can't say field, and the context or lack of context behind it. But even to this point, I mean, I would still conclude that looking at their Levon on social, not much has changed.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just it's not that the jumps can't be beautiful. And again, let me take what Tara said and let's have the conversation and kind of like put it all on Front Street. Her thought is, I'm defying gravity. Put me on a stage. Give
hmm
me a runway. Let me command attention.
hmm
I'll be honest. Can I for on a personal level, if you can't give me stakes behind it, watching people long jump is only but so entertaining. It's the same thing for every other event. Let's clarify. The difference is
mm,
you're jumping by yourself. So
mm,
if I want to take all emotion out of it and just talk about straight facts, you jump by yourself. The same
yeah.
way that everybody okay, imagine if we ran the 100-meter dash where everybody ran a time trial by themselves. We blow a whistle, run. Blow a whistle, run. Blow a whistle, run. And everybody gets the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Functional
There's
Functionally
yeah,
speaking, it's the same experience for the fan. It's like
yeah.
watching the NBA 'cause matter of fact, the NFL Combine, you know how they actually do that. This is what they do. They run the 40, he runs, then he runs, like, they just literally run 40s over and over
Mm,
and over and over, so we actually know what this looks like.
yeah.
Functionally, we do know what that looks like.
The only difference I'll say is because in the jumps, and specifically long and triple jump, you get multiple attempts. There is a back and forth drama aspect that does play into it, where it's like, okay, one athlete just jumped and then another athlete jumped, but you have 6 different rounds to be able to improve and go back and forth. So there's like the drama of like, a 100-meter race just takes 10 seconds, 9, 10 seconds. This is like a full competition. So there's some that's where at least I think the entertainment aspect should be different, in a
That's
sense.
if the narrative makes sense.
Mm.
And maybe in an Olympic final, it does to some degree, even though it's not really televised well. Like, it's not put it in a way
Oh,
where
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
really
yeah.
process it. But if
Yeah.
you're there watching or if you had it covered the right way, then maybe perhaps. I mean, you're right, like, it's the back and forth nature 'cause the NFL Combine, they run 3 times.
Mm.
Like, they get 3 attempts or, like, multiple attempts to put their best time down. It's just not, "He goes, you go, now you go again."
Mm.
It's more like, "Okay, you run. Okay, put your time on the boards. Now you know the best time is this." So that part
Oh,
stays.
yeah.
Where it's like, "Okay, I wanna prove I'm the top guy. He put 4:31. I'm about to go give 4:29. I'm about to break it right now. Let's go." You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, that there's it's still a version of the same thing. Is the jumps aren't going to change by nature than multiple people jumping into the pit at the same time. I get that. That's not the point.
Yeah.
I'm saying you need a narrative needs to be wrapped around where that's why I love when we equalize the events and point scores and all those things start showing up because winning the 100 and winning a long jump are the same thing now,
Mhm.
like for the purposes of the team. But if that's not what we're doing, you can't really blame sponsors who just kind of looked and said, well, who's visible? And then
Yeah,
they
yeah,
realize,
yeah.
like, okay, well, how does a 400 hurdler get visible? In this case, how did a high jumper get visible? Shelby McEwen went on. I don't know if you saw this. He went and did a special with, I think it was like Jordan Kilgannon or something like that, like one of these,
Mm.
elite, like professional dunkers.
Mhm.
And he played basketball, so he's not like aside from being a high jumper, like, he actually played basketball. So it's
Yeah.
essentially like so. I believe Jordan, what he's doing is he's high jumping with him, and then they go dunking together after the fact.
Got it. Yeah, yeah,
And that
yeah.
video does pretty like, I think that alone put Shelby McEwen in front of more people, like, as far as, like, visually taking in this guy as an athlete.
Yeah.
And then matter of fact, Imma look it up. Imma tell you exactly how many views it got because
No,
I
it
watched
makes
it.
it makes sense. It makes sense because I was gonna say because I remember last year Shelby and Masai Russell they did the NBA All Star game um situation as well because after they
A
had both
million
won medals.
views, by the way.
Okay, this Shelby
Yeah, Jordan
situation.
Kilgannon and Shelby McEwen, that was it, and again, it's a pro dunker versus Olympic high jumper.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Yeah.
called, and that does 1.1 million views a month ago. So, like,
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say he was more visible there
Oh yeah, by far.
than he
It's not even
was
close.
from actually being a high jumper.
Yeah, from like Shelby McEwen actually won an Olympic medal. Like he was actually very close to gold. He almost won the gold medal. But like to your point, and he actually even has a world. Actually, Shelby McEwen has a lot of success. When I forgot he has a world indoor medal as well. But like regardless, yeah, those unfortunately just don't get traction. Like it's just not going to get as much traction because like the two parts where it's like doubly hit. One, track and field is not going to get as much traction. And then two, field events are not going to get traction. And then actually three, high jump is unfortunately one of the even lower rung in terms of like popularity and attention field events. So that's yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Overall, I mean, I don't know. I think like, there's aspects of the jumps that are entertaining for track fans, but there obviously is a problem that, we're not going to solve, we're not going to solve today, or next month or next year in terms of like the popularity and the attention of the jumps across the board as we look at, the sport on a whole,
Even
internally
Cordell
and
Tinch,
externally.
by the way, he's another, like, we don't
Oh
realize
yeah, he
how good
has
he is.
talent. Yeah, he got talent.
Like, long jump, like, he can long jump.
Yeah.
Like, his mark that's on the board just listed as an undeclared athlete on this list, 8.29. It matches the best jumper we have pulling up for the American long jump.
Okay, Cordell Tinch is entered in the long jump. I
Well,
didn't even realize that.
I mean, he's just entered here. It's, he still don't have the little declaration thing next to him, but he's there.
Okay. Yeah. I
Now,
mean,
I don't know if he will or won't. I mean, again, it is what it is. I mean, it's
yeah.
mostly college kid that we know.
Yeah,
I
that's true.
mean, like, one or two people who are quote unquote on. He's one of three who have a sponsor listed between Isaac Grimes, Adidas, and Jeremiah Davis, Puma.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And
no, I mean,
Jeremiah Davis was
Cordell
the best jumper in college, like when he was coming off, like at Florida State. Like at least at that moment, he was. I actually labeled him at that point. I did like an SCA awards. He was the jumper of the year.
mm, okay, yeah, 'cause I remember it was Jeremiah Davis, Wayne Pinnock, Kerry McLeod. Those guys were all at the same time, like 2023, 2024,
Yeah, so that would have been
ish.
2024.
Mm,
Yeah, so I mean, again, like this USA is like I'm not gonna get to aside from this video. Shout out to those who made it this far. You are most certainly a real one, but But as for the long jump or all the jumps for that matter, I'm not going to do much like coverage at all during the meet unless something incredibly out of the ordinary happens. Like I show speed entered the long jump or something. Like
I'll hold down the jumps. I love the jumps.
yeah,
Just on
like
a personal level, I love it.
oh yeah,
But
no,
no,
you'll
I
you'll
hear
you'll put it out. It's just I mean, 'cause,
I hear it. Yeah.
yeah, like you that's like I used led with firsthand. Like used to do more around the jumps on my channel.
Mhm.
There came a point when I realized like the track community, and maybe I want to say it this way, is so fractured where sprinting fans don't necessarily cross over as hurling fans, and sprinting fans don't necessarily cross over as jumping fans. And you would assume that they do, and we sometimes use the term track and field to refer to what we're talking about. But when we're being very transparent, we're not talking about track and field as much as we are talking about a subset of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, track and field is, in theory, I mean, we have like what 21 different events. Like you can cut it down to like you have you essentially have four different, well, you could say five, but like you have essentially four different groupings in the sense of you have your sprints, you have your distance, you have your jumps, and then you have your throws. But then I say even like maybe five because the hurdles to a degree can be like kind of segmented out. But like that's the nature of our sport. A lot of people who are watching and are fans of the 200 are not actually fans of like the 10K and are not actually fans of like the hammer throw. Like we have multiple different sports. So that, at least as in the context of the jumps, does unfortunately cause things to take a hit because there aren't, people aren't, crossing through to watch different events. But, again, we'll see the athletes compete at USA's, and hey, I'm rooting for everybody. Me as a diehard fan, I definitely do follow the jumps, but I also acknowledge like, it's tough. It's a different landscape. The attention isn't there.
My name is Anderson from The Final Leg.
And I'm Coach Rob from SCA Track and Field. And thank you for watching this segment from The Finish Line.
If you want to know what's really going on at the high school and college level, be sure to subscribe to Coach Rob Track and Field.
And if you want more content on the best track and field athletes in the world, be sure to subscribe to The Final Leg.